Futures trying to get back to the upside here this morning as we kick things off. Back to basically break even right now for the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 lagging a little bit here. We're still down by 0.15% for the S&P, but a lot of people around here right now talking about DJT, 20 almost percent to the upside there at the highs. We're coming back in a little bit, 56.30 trying to hold. After a huge day yesterday, I noticed in the aftermarket, I was having a look at a few things and saw this one up again to start things off. Google coming up after the close tonight. We'll touch on that. Earnings for big tech throughout the week, as I'm sure the guys were talking about all day yesterday. PayPal, a notable weak stock this morning, moving around here though. Just had another volume alert go off there. Back above 80, I guess, trying to hold right now for PayPal. Huge move downside though on a miss for them, 3%, trying to hold a little bit higher. Nothing terribly exciting as far as economic data this morning. We do get the JOLTS jobs data coming up at 10 o'clock, so just keep an eye out for that. Retail inventories came through there for September, 0.1% to the upside versus 0.3% forecast expected. The big ones Thursday and Friday. Non-farm payrolls on Friday. We'll get PCE coming up on Thursday, so the first of a few job-related data points here this morning.
Hopefully they're good, because I think some of the run-up in crypto lately has been on the back of anticipated rate cuts. So hopefully we don't get a curveball there and have the rate cut landscape change. Lots to talk about today, guys. So many companies reporting earnings. You got Ford, PayPal, Brendo mentioned. You got Pfizer, McDonald's. There's even a beef between Google and Microsoft starting here, Brendo. Should be interesting to cover as well.
Say it ain't so.
I know, right? So lots and lots to talk about.
Yeah, all things AI as well moving around here. I saw a couple of the smaller ones popping up here a few minutes ago, but we'll touch on that. There's McDonald's, as you mentioned, trying to hold 290 right now, downside as well, to the tune of about 2.25%, 2.5% at the lows there. Double check on the call for that, but still some comments popping out from McDonald's. Not a good look to start things off, but the big ones to come. Yeah, good morning, guys.
Big ones to come. I'm actually a little bit nervous here. I'm already short, but yeah, PayPal, yeah, McDonald's. I don't know. I said this yesterday. I was like, maybe the market. I mean, there's a lot of things that could also miss. You know, it's like Google always seems to throw something in there that misses, and you know,
the littlest thing.
Yeah, like they could start talking about Waymo. Waymo's not making any money. They don't have any cars on the road. You know, there could be maybe. I think YouTube will be positive because it's the best streaming service around. And then
it's all right.
It's all right, you know. And then if they miss on the cloud, I don't know if they will or not, but you know, things could go wrong. And then AMD, we're gonna find out what. Hey, Randy.
Oh wow.
Wow, I like that one. Is that supposed to be like a heart? Kind of. I like that. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah. Got to make it stylish.
Yeah, and AMD today. And anyways, well, you know, there's lots. We'll be talking about it as it goes. But as they led with McDonald's there, yeah, now it looks like it wants to break through this 290. So that's not great. We've been lower, but so we'll see if it can hold. Yeah, it is what it is. But I'm short the Qs right now. I like sort of the trend heading to the downside right now. We're trying to play it off of the 200 period here early. We'll get shorter if it bumps up. But for me, I'm going to play a little short to start the day. And this, you know, it'll be out about that.
There's this thing moving around a little bit.
This guy over here.
DJT. Whether or not you guys have heard of this before.
Obi said it, and I said never heard of it.
Yeah, Obi.
We're looking at it, and I said, DJ what?
I don't know. I mean, it's doing a little bit of volume.
I think it's that Canadian
couple million shares here or there. You know, obviously, no, this thing's up 19% right now, and hunting for more at this particular point. Like it's been, like it was already like trending up. Forget about it now. Now you're just bursting out. There's a big, if you pull up on a weekly chart, this actually looks even more intense, the 56.5 level. So it's at a pretty monster spot that if it pushes through, some shorts are probably, well, I mean, they're already pissing their pants, but at this point, they're definitely under some pressure at that 57. Sofi was, I mean, the growth is good, although there are some slowing metrics in there if you're looking at it, but on the daily chart, it looks fantastic. And come on, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, Bitcoin, finally, The Rock has come back to, The Rock didn't go anywhere. Bitcoin has made that breakout. So we broke 70,000, and we got as high as like 71.5 or just a little bit higher than that. So the trend has broken finally on BTC. Got to be watching some crypto names. Obviously, MSTR are going to be in play. Mara broke out on the daily as well. So there's a lot to look at. You don't even have to be that focused on earnings names today if you don't want to. You can, don't get me wrong, like there's plenty out there. But with the crypto space, with DJT, fun, all that good stuff, big cap tech still rolling around, you're going to have a lot of places to go to without having to look at an earnings name, of which there are plenty. Go Bitcoin.
Boeing rolling over here once again. There was a little bit of a move back higher initially. We tried to get back to 150, but failed. This offering coming through here, 112.5 million common shares at 143 each. We were discussing this going back to last week a little bit, but 1.5% right now, this March lower continuing here for Boeing.
Yeah, so this is something that we talked about last week. So it was a $19 billion raise. They're going to do it through ways, through stock and convertible securities. So it's going to be $19 billion. It was going to be around 90 million shares with around $5 billion of that convertible to be a convertible security. The problem is there's been a marked drop in the stock price. So now that 19 billion is more looking like 13.95, around $14 billion. And they have to maintain their cash balance. They have to raise cash. Otherwise, they're going to get downgraded, Brendo, reduced from investment grade rating. S&P Global Ratings already threatening them.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Yeah, I mean, it's the story continues. Let's put it that way. Lucy just popping up in front of me here. Innovative Eyewear launching Lucid Armor, first ANSI certified smart safety glasses with integrated AI features. So they got that key AI term in there. $12 seems to be a bit of a level, but yeah, 100% move there, guys, for Lucy this morning.
Anything to do with AI?
No, like yada, yada, yada AI. Wow, the volatility on I mean, you pull this one up and it's like, quick little double up, and then you remember, oh yeah, okay, why is the liquidity so bad? Reverse split. So when these things reverse split, there's obviously going to be less shares out there. So breaking out here, these post-split highs, when they go, almost seems like you get these nice little jump-off spots. So usually ends up going back to the downside, as you can see here. But on day one, this has done it a couple of times where there's actually been a follow-through. So follow through there, a little bit of follow through that last time. And you got to watch out that 11.5 zone, way too far up to be chasing it today. I don't wonder if some of the runner names, like the low float runners, like these types of names, having to compete with crypto today, having to compete with DJT, I don't wonder if they're going to run out of steam a little bit easier. If there's only so much eyeballs and volume to go around there. Like, how many things can you have squeezing at once? I mean, I guess we'll see. But yeah, DJT's and finally going to be front of my mind there. That Lucy, those reverse split ones, you want to be in them early. I never want to chase one late when it's like way past the reverse split price. And that one's a way past it at this point. Probably needs to settle down. Can't say I love Lucy this time.
No, not right yet. Not right yet. All right, so, some people talking about Sofi. Sofi had a nice rip up to $12 there on their report. Now fading back in and coming in pretty good. So I know a lot of you are probably thinking long, what a great opportunity. But it's really been hit pretty good. It broke through VWAP, kind of broke it again, started head to the downside. Now you're breaking the 200 period. It's never really great when you go green to red. So... Nope. Especially on earnings. So I would wait for this 11, 15-ish area here in order to start dip buying Sofi. I actually didn't even put this on the sticky note. The sticky note's out. I could have and maybe should have, because if I'm looking at this right now, this is not bad at all. This is 11. Okay, well, this is what I mean. You're coming into a level of support right now. It's like I would have, if I was looking at this before this little dump off had happened right now, I'd say this would be a spot. But now that we're breaking lower, and this is why I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention here, we just talked about it was just at 2%, so you just lost another 1% right here on Sofi, coming back in pretty nicely into this 1120 area. So for me, it had its little move up there. And on the daily chart, we had talked about it already running into, some levels up here and breaking through right into there. And now we break it on earnings and then now can't hold. So we go right back to August highs again and looks like failing off of that. So let's see if Sofi, look, there's room to go. Let's see if Sofi does have that chance to hold in and around 1150 or so. If it does do that, then I think we can get back up. But there it is, holding 1130, so that's nice.
All right, you mentioned Ford here to kick things off here. One of the ones that reported after the close yesterday just made a new low, trying to head southbound as we speak here. So yeah, Ford not good. The forecast going into 2025 not good. The remainder of 2024 Q4 guidance as well, missing expectations. So like barely a bounce here. We got back up to 1080, I guess they're on that little move higher, but back to session lows now for Ford.
It's the same old story, Brendo. The Ford Pro and Ford Blue doing the heavy lifting, and the EVs continue to bleed. They're bleeding a lot of money. They're losing about $35,000 per car, electric vehicle that they're selling. But the Ford Pro, which is their F-150 and their F-Series trucks, doing really good. Ford Blue, obviously the internal combustion engine line. They did revise their 2024 EBIT to the low end of the guidance. That's probably one of the reasons we're selling off. Automotive revenue did reach expectations, and earnings, EPS, actually beat. So they were able to shore up some costs. I think they were saving the tune of $4 billion they wanted to save on the quarter. I think they did reach that, but things really haven't changed in terms of demand.
Yeah, if you zoom out a little bit here, 1050, I guess, maybe on the daily chart could come into play here. I was mentioning to you, kind of funny, I was down in Nashville on the weekend, and I've never in my life seen so many F-150s before. So, I mean, they still have no problem selling pickup trucks, clearly. But what do we think here, guys? 1050 possible for Ford?
It's at 10:59 now. So, I mean, yeah, probably. This is a lesson on why you don't trade that headline number. Well, I mean, if you're trading earnings aftermarket, you should probably know this. That when the headline numbers come out, you definitely want to be waiting around to see when the guidance drops. Because, you know, as we were watching live on the recap show, Ford's initial move was on volume strong, and then the guide came and Ford did what Ford has been doing, which is reject 11, reject the breakout. I mean, 1050, sure, that's where we are right now, that $0.50, and being a cheaper stock, you probably, I guess levels like that are going to matter, but I think you could be retesting September lows in here today, down 7%. The play that I'll look for on Ford today shouldn't surprise anybody. It's down 7 points at $10.24, or something like whatever, give or take a penny. It'll be down 10%. It would be down 10% an SSR. So that's pretty much right around where support is on the daily chart anyways. We get down there, if this goes SSR, I'm for sure looking for a bounce play here. Maybe it goes all the way to 10 even, maybe it's around that 10 quarter, but once it gets to that 10% down, if it gets to that 10% down, I shouldn't say, it's not a guarantee, then that's the play I'd look for on Ford. Otherwise, I'm going to sit it out. I mean, you have so much to choose from today. You could look at Ford on earnings, which is down and really not moving a heck of a lot, or you can look at something like a PayPal, which I'd be adding to the list after a nice little bounce. And you get on the call, and all of a sudden, what was down in the mid-70s is back up to 83 and threatening to go green. I like when names that get beaten down on earnings initially go back and go green and try to break it back out. So this is one to watch if it can get and stay green at the open there on PayPal. But Ford's just an SSR play if it gets 10% down.
Yeah, I was just reading those notes as well. Like losing $5 billion for its Model E, like it's crazy when you think about, you know, what stuff that GM was talking about a little bit there, and of course we just had Tesla's numbers. Yeah, I mean down 7%. You know, I mean looking at this name, I just don't know if we're going to get a pop. So if you did, then I mean anything into 11 would be great. I mean that's yesterday's bottom. It held it for some reason. Actually, that's not even yesterday. That's 2 days ago. So 2 days ago, bottom there, we held that $11. Now we broke through it. So I would just use that as your level. I don't think there's any reason for this thing to pop up 50 cents. But if it does, I think we'd be short there. It's crazy. It's like to predict something before earnings is going to be ridiculously hard because you just had GM pop, you just had Tesla pop, so you could think that, okay, maybe Ford could do that, and then they come out and do almost the complete opposite and give back exactly that move that they had on GM up there into 1180, and they were just at 1130, 1140. Right now, you're back down $1 from there, so that's 10% off in just a couple weeks. Just a week, but you know we've already touched up there a couple times. So they just continue to disappoint. They can't get above this area of 1150. Now you have earnings, so you're going to get a chance pretty soon to buy this thing at $10. and then you could see if you like it down there or not, and hopefully it holds it. And then you could get that story, right, where it starts to go back to the upside again. So whether or not they get things right soon, I'm not sure. I don't know if this is also going to be like an election type stock because, again, was just listening to what Donald Trump wants to tariff, tax, these foreign cars coming through. So if he does that, then maybe Ford can get an advantage there. But I don't know enough about that business to make that call. We can talk to Randy about it. But at the end of the day, Ford not performing. And that's what I'm saying about trying to predict quarters. Like, you don't really know. If you try to go based on what the rest has been doing, then Ford can pull this out. Yep. But you just got to sort of be company by company here. And right now it looks like Ford wants to head lower. Are you guys in Canada? Yes, we are.
It's true.
Yes, yes. These are poppies for our Remembrance Day, November the 11th. So it's just a tradition, I guess, to remember fallen soldiers there at Founders Field.
Great poem. You know, on a better note than Ford, on a happy note, just look at a chart of GM. And ultimately, as Sean said, you can predict. You can try to predict that things might have gone better for them because there's some blowouts, but GM might give you, like if it gets dragged down here on sympathy, which I'm not saying it's going to, but it's down 1%, like this broke away from 50 to 51, and it just had a great report, so I could see, if you do get a fall and you want to be long something in the space, then, why not look for a bounce play on something like a GM at prior resistance? Instead of trying to catch a falling knife. The SSR bounce is it's just like a gimmick trade where you probably end up risking a couple pennies on a Ford if you can find it. But GM's a much stronger chart. It's just, they've been performing well. They just had a good quarter. I think looking for this one to consolidate its breakout and then go is a much better play.
I want to say thank you to Arsis FX here for 2 months.
Nice.
2 months, 2 years, 24-month. Members there. So
Two's
thank
okay
you so much to Arsis. Right there. When do we have SMCI earnings? Do we have SMCI earnings already? No,
no, because they delayed them.
Right, that's what it was. So
wait a minute.
We'll find out.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know.
They had something a little while ago. SMCI. Okay. Anyways, good question. We'll find out more about that. All right, we have our guest that's waiting in the wings. As soon as we are ready, we're going to throw it back to the desk, anyways, and we'll go from there.
There he is, Mitch Hoke, analyst over at Trade the Pool, back with us once again for a look at what's going to be the first day of a few in a row here, and then a couple of weeks in a row, Mitch, as far as earnings are concerned, that it's going to be important for the overall market, just from a higher level here. Big tech also always an exciting part of earnings season. What are you looking at as far as individual names? What do you think as far as these reports are going to bring for the market?
Yeah, if we talk about earnings, of course, we just got a couple of them that I think are very important. D.R. Horton with that kind of warning in the housing space, something definitely to watch for. They're not expecting as positive the 2025 as, of course, 24 was. And then JetBlue also causing for a guidance shrinking revenue there. So airlines could be facing some harder time, especially towards the end of the year. The only thing that could help them, though, of course, I'd keep an eye out on crude and oil prices keep coming down. That will still help that area out. Now, problems at Ford, of course, showed up clearly. As you see, this is more of an issue about supply, and I think that this is what you need to be looking at. Look at the comparison level between Ford's inventory level of 91 days versus Toyota. Right? You guys can see how Toyota, I think it's best of breed, and it only has 34 days of supply. Complete difference there, right? 91 and 34. So keep your eyes on that. And of course, as we get to the big boys, I'm going to be watching to see if Google today could run into the earnings, maybe take out that 170. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders pattern there that I think we can get tech started today. Then you'll run into a little bit of some trouble maybe tonight, as, of course, Google had troubles in, of course, the search space with ChatGPT coming out, right? So I'm not looking at Google's report as being positive, but that doesn't mean that they can't buy before the report comes out. Then we'll go into Wednesday and Thursday, where I think you'll start getting a bounce back with Microsoft's report, of course, leading to Apple. That'll be all about the iPhone. And, of course, now Apple Intelligence kicking off. So a lot of talk of that expected on the report.
Yeah, we get the rollout finally of Apple Intelligence. I mean, I was reading a couple of things yesterday, and initial, I guess, reviews not overly positive, I guess, but we'll see as time goes by. There are also analysts now saying that sales are going to be record for the iPhone 16. A few weeks back, we were sitting here talking about how no one was apparently buying the iPhone 16. So as it normally does year over year with Apple, it comes down to the actual report and numbers. You mentioned an interesting point here, and I think you nailed it on the nose there with Google. You know, a very small, even 0.1, 0.2% decline in market share for search for Google is substantial when you have 95+% of a market share of any sort of business. So you get ChatGPT moving into that space, you get other Perplexities, another one a lot of people have been shifting over to. For Google itself, I mean, yeah, interesting look on the daily chart. We're almost consolidating going into this report tonight.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting to think about it this way, right? When I used to always say this word, right? I'd ask Mother if I had a question, and Mother was Google. Now Mother's slowly becoming ChatGPT, right? When I have a question, do I go to Google now or do I go to ChatGPT? A lot of the times I'm going to ChatGPT. And if you do search on Google, what answer are you getting? You're getting an AI answer anyways right at the top, right? So I think that that's something that could run into today, especially with Google's report. But we got to talk about the micro caps, man. Are you seeing the action there? Because the micro caps are on fire. Even this morning, still getting some others to get a nice little lift. Even retail favorites like SPCE, IonQ with quantum computing really taking off there. So I think that's a trade that most traders are missing right now, focusing, of course, on the big boys.
Yeah, you usually get that. We've talked about it a lot on the show. You usually get that initial push or initial day one kind of move, but then things tail off a little bit here. What do you think of this Lucy this morning? We were talking about a new product, it sounds like anyways, for Lucy coming out here. Innovative eyewear up. It was 100%. We're off the highs now. It got above 10 briefly there, but Lucy coming back in a little bit.
Yeah, these are the fun parts, right? Of course, with Trade the Pool, I get to go and maybe shorting a name like this, but I think that right now you got to watch for the exuberance because the exuberance is coming in. I was able to play even a smaller name, a penny name this morning, BKYI, and make a nice little gain from 94 to 132. And I think that you're seeing a lot of eyes on these small cap names, especially with IWM and IWC kind of getting that lift. Keep your eyes on these because the truth is the attention goes to these small caps, especially when we start to see repeat 100% movers, right? We saw 3 yesterday. Not only one, but we saw 3. I was able to play one, and we keep seeing these multiple halt type of plays, these parabolic plays. So keep your eyes. Lucy is one of those names that is being watched.
More earnings. I want to get your thoughts here on PayPal. We're almost back to, I mean, down 1.25 right now. It was down better part of 4% at the lows there for PayPal. So a nice move back higher here after the initial dump on PayPal. What are you seeing?
Yeah, one thing on PayPal is that I'd be looking at Square, right? Because I know that I always like to look at the relationships. That's what I'm always about. It's not necessarily the leader, but the laggard that could come after that. So Square has slowly started to get the motor going while PayPal has taken off, right? And on this report, it really wasn't a bad report. It looks like the new CEO, almost completing a year here, is really starting to focus on the right things and at least get PayPal going in the right direction. Now let's see if Square maybe follow suits today. I'm actually watching Square more than I'm watching PayPal today, and we'll see if Square can start getting the lift here.
A lot to keep your eye on today. Anything else catching your eye top of the list so far this morning?
You know it. I'm loaded with plays right now. I mean, the China trade, the swing trade action on my swing account, I got Baba. Remember last week, guys, what were the levels? 50% to 61.8. It was 100 to 96. Where did the stock go? 100 to 96. Now we're back above that 100. Let's see if we can hold it today. I do have a play on Baba, full disclosure. That's the one I have. But I also like the way that JD held the 31.8 retracement. And that shows me more strength in JD.com than some of the other names. Then you look at crypto. You got it all there. Clean Spark really starting things off. Will Bitcoin get a run to 100,000? That's what I've been saying. I think the potential's here for the end of the year. Why? Because right now the eyes are on the elections, right? The uncertainty. Well, one thing's certain, Bitcoin probably higher, right? I don't think that that's going to change regardless of whoever becomes president. So you keep your eyes on that play. Then the nuclear play got hot again. Last week I talked about potential pullback coming in. Now you're getting that move right back up. NNE, SMR. I was able to play NNE yesterday for a small win on our stream, and going to continue watching this nuclear space. Then one last one for you guys is healthcare. Healthcare is going to be on watch today, of course, with Pfizer's earning. And that one I'm watching because it seems like a really good earnings and a little bit surprising. It has a nice base. Of course, people don't like Pfizer because of COVID vaccines, but that's what they mentioned is doing well. Right? So adjusted EPS coming in at $1.06, beating the 62 estimate. And I'd also watch for Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly right now is getting ready for their earnings tomorrow before the open, but it's set up here to maybe make a run into the earnings. So that's the last one I'd give. There's so many, guys. I have it all for you guys, of course. It's trade the pool, guys. The only question is, who's getting out of the pool today?
Well, I mean, we'll see. Mitch, are you staying in the pool?
Oh, I'll tell you one. We all get into the pool every single day, right? That's the question. The question is who's taking the money out, right? The money goes into the pool every single day. I think that's where traders sometimes get it twisted. We're all in this together, right? The only question is who's getting out. It's like when you get into the jacuzzi and all of a sudden there's too many people. Well, guess what? I'm seeing my way out of here and taking that money.
Mitch Hoke, analyst over at Trade the Pool. Best of luck today. Good to see you.
Have a good one, guys. Go trade, guys. Trade the pool.
Yeah,
Thanks so much,
we trade a little
Mitch.
bit around here. We trade a little bit around
The
here.
jacuzzi.
I looked and it was I traded a lot of shares last month. I was looking and it was in the millions of shares, and it was crazy how much it was. Okay, so shout out to Money Mitch. All right,
Mitch.
Great ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
we got to have him back on his.
Don't sleep on CleanSpark, because there's a lot of things he mentioned in there, but. And this is something that actually Michael mentioned in the aftermarket as well. And we're talking a little about this with some miners, with Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, things like this on this crypto move, things that are lagging a little bit, and you look for like the lagging breakouts. That way, if we fail the breakout in the big boy, then you still got something which has a little bit of room, like you're breaking out slowly on the daily there. The one that I like to play, I mean, we've been playing over in Mara, it's kind of like a similar thing above this like 19 quarter level, so pull back into prior resistance. I think that's all the rage, but shout out on that Alibaba. I don't know if we'll get to, there's so much to look at today. I don't know if we'll get to the Chinese ADRs, but that BABA bounce, back above that 100, it's certainly starting to revert that trend a little bit. We'll see how far it can go. I'm not sure it's in a rush to get back to those highs with I guess, attentions going elsewhere. But yeah, some fantastic looks there from Mitch. We appreciate it.
People liking the CLSK look there, and yeah, it's great to have a bunch of different names. Crypto names there. Talking about Toyota Motors, we don't talk about that enough here. That's simple TM.
We never even call it up.
Yeah, both Randy and Neil and even myself were like, yeah, we never even talk about this. And look at this. I mean, it's not like it's performing that well, but it is starting to get to some bottoms there. I mean, it looks very. Again, a bad 6 months. I mean, there hasn't almost a bad year here. It hasn't been great, but you are pulling back into last year's levels as well that we've been supporting. So I actually want to thank Mitch for bringing this one up, because I haven't even looked at Toyota, and I do like what Toyota is doing as well. So there's a lot right into here. So I like this 170 area here to try to hold for TM on any weakness. So I'm glad that Mitch brought that one up as well. So we're going to go to Adair in a minute. I just, my sticky note is out right here. We've put it out. We've talked about it a little bit. And I've just recently said here that I'm nervous. Right now we're going to go short. We talked about Bitcoin going up. We'll get that. But a couple short ideas in here, including the NASDAQ, Apple, and then even Palantir. I have written down as some short ideas on here as well. So, hey, what's up, J-Trades? J-Trades posting some stuff on here as well with some calls. Ooh, calls above $49 to $50 there. DJT, Neo, and T-Doc. Okay, J-Trades, I see you. Good ideas. Go find me and J-Trades. All right, so here we go. We are short. We just touched out there. So we got short 77. I'm not trying to layer into this or anything like that. We had written down on the sticky note that we like 75.25, kind of just into here. 75.50 is really the level, but I would like to start to, you know, gather some shares in and around 75.25, and then using somewhere up here yesterday afternoon's highs in order to get out of the way. So that might even be 75.60 or so. So we'll share size accordingly. We don't want to get into this too quickly right now. Yeah, DJT is on the sticky note. Did I not write? Yeah, it should be on there. It's on there. Yeah, it's on there. Watching for dips to VWAP. We'll talk about DJT in a minute. But all right, it's upgrades and downgrades. Adara.
First Solar out of its earnings tonight, getting an upgrade from Jenny. Keep an eye on FSLR here. We had VF Corporation reporting yesterday, up about 20% here with the beat across the board and getting this positive note from TSLA Advisory Group. Six Flags with an upgrade from Guggenheim, and Hive, which is in the crypto space, getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo. On the downgrade side, we have an analyst note on Tapestry here after we had that news that they're not going to be able to go forward with that acquisition of Capri. TD Cowen downgrading Tapestry here. We have Harmonic down about 20% with a downgrade from Raymond James. Celanese getting downgraded by Vertical Research, and Trade Desk here down about 1% with a New Street downgrade. It's worth noting for Trade Desk that it also had an upgrade today from Wells Fargo. Huge list here, guys.
58.61, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. We've been kind of in this tight range for a while since back on the 23rd, using 58.37, 58.40 as support. As resistance, we're looking at that same level in the high, 58.75, 58.80. We haven't been able to work up to 5,900 in some days, but if we do get our footing under us, we're looking at 5,900 as resistance. Otherwise, the two previous levels I mentioned.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you take advantage of an absolutely free resource. Comes right to your inbox every single morning. Super simple. Go down to the description of this video right now. There's a link to the watch list. All you need is your email address, and then you get that for free every single day. Has everything you need to know on it. Before we come on at 8:30, let's talk some crypto here, top of the list. I mean, I just pulled up Coinbase. You can pull up any one of these, really. They look very similar. MSTR, I noticed, was a little bit more, almost 4% at the highs coming off right now. Back to session lows, but a nice gap for all of these equity-related crypto stocks as we get a nice pop in BTC.
Yeah, running just in the nick of time with the elections just 1 week away. Now let's talk about some of these levels. First time we've been above 70,000 since June. The all-time high, guys, 73,797. We did that back, I believe, in March. So good look. There are other factors obviously influencing the Federal Reserve policy that we expect on November 7th. I guess we're still expecting 25 bips.
Yeah, I was reading a little bit over the weekend. I mean, one opinion was maybe just one instead of two more before the end of the year. But yeah, we'll see what happens going into it. These coming back a little bit here, though, guys. What are we thinking?
Yeah, like obviously with BTC making that 70,000 break, we're still at 71 right now. I mean, the first thing to look for, well, I mean, the first thing I'm going to look for is a pullback into 70. So if 70 pulls back, and like if we get bounced off that, then I want continuation longs. If we lose 70, then I want to find I want to find some things to go short in. Like you look at MSTR, you look at Coin. Now Coin reports this week, so I think they're going to be a different beast. We get them tomorrow, I believe, after market. But you know, Mara I still like. And Mara, it kind of makes it pretty simple because when you pull back into 70,000, Mara is pulling into that prior high, 1920. That's just a dark pool wick in there. So you really are talking about 1915 and 1920, where we topped out yesterday. If we lose 70,000, this becomes an easy retracement play. If we bounce and hold over 70,000, looking pull back into prior resistance turning into support. So that gives a target area from about 19 to 1920 or so underneath 19. Got to be looking fade. And if you're trading MSTR, I don't know that it's wholly different. I mean, prices are obviously going to be a bit different in here. Oh yeah, we're not split adjusted, but trending back up, post split. You have the gap from the high, about 260 that could pull back into. So if we hold 70,000, like I don't want to be looking for like a sell the news if we bounce off the 70,000. If we bounce off 70,000, it's continuation plays. And Mara is the one that I'm looking at. We showed CleanSpark. It's basically the same setup if you're looking at CLSK. As well. CLSK again pull back into prior high. It's that 70,000 bounce over and over again. You got to have BTC up. I'm going to be looking at IBIT, same thing, just different price numbers there. So we bounced 70,000. Mara long off prior highs.
I mean, if you guys are swinging any of the plays, of course, that, I'm posting here as well. We had IBIT yesterday at 39.50 long yesterday. So that was a big trade. We had that. We had to cover it, of course, because we don't hold anything after hours. All right, well, that was yesterday's sticky note. Today's sticky note is a different one, and it has Mara on it. So, I mean, I actually put Mara, I think for the first time ever, as the sort of the number one thing that I wanted to look at. I just thought, it had a great move yesterday with that late move on BTC, right? So if you're going to have a look here at what Mara did, we just ramped up. And I mean, that's nice. Following the 50-period moving average, really holding out, closing. Basically, look, you get those imbalances that come through and it started to go to the downside. So we watched Bitcoin pull back as well, but Bitcoin's not pulling back anymore. It's broken higher. But Mara, for some reason, wants to come all the way back to where it was yesterday at close, or even before close, before the imbalances came out. So I'm trying to look at 19 long. I mean, I think that's reasonable. We'll watch. I have crypto down here, 71. I mean, we don't want to be in this name if it loses 70. That's for sure. At least we don't want to be in it long. We'll wait for it to bottom and then try to pick the long. So I made 2 plays down here because I write down the sticky note an hour ago, and I don't know what we're going to do. So an hour ago, we were right here. I said, look, I really like the pre-market high break. So at the time it was 1965. That's what we wrote down on our note. Right now, it's still 1965. So if we can get going, I like that break. I actually have that order to buy already in. But I also have an order to dip buy right now at 19 teens. So hopefully that will come in and fill us down into here, and we'll be able to start to build some long on Mara. And then just wait to see if crypto holds. If it doesn't hold, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting for 1880 or something like that, whatever was up with these levels, or maybe even yesterday's closing price of 1890. So I think that those are decent spots where that if you get long down into here, you're giving yourselves 10 or 15 cents to these levels. And I think that that's pretty all right by me. I mean, the trend is this way. Here's the break of 19. So let's just go with it. Play the pullback in and see if we can go. So yeah, that's a little play there for MARA that we're looking at right now. Just before we go back, we have DJT probably third. So just want to see what's going on. $56. So right now, DJT not doing much. But we'll go talk about Google. The biggest name to report yet starts tonight.
All right, let's go on to Google coming up tonight after the close. Positive again here this morning. Not a heck of a lot, it's worth noting. Price action to follow through on that, as to be expected ahead of earnings report. This is kind of interesting. Sharif and I were just touching on this. Anthropic, which if you didn't know is backed by Amazon, jumping into Google's search pool with their latest AI project. So the more and more you hear, not only AI specifically, but different companies the size of Amazon trying to take some market share away from Google, it's not going to be a good look.
No, it's not. And that's exactly the reason why we're having issues right now with some of the valuations on Google, because people are using search markedly different. They're using LLMs and ChatGPT and the like instead of actually going to Google search. So that has some analysts here a little bit concerned, and they're actually predicting Q3 revenue to be the slowest in 4 quarters. They're talking about competitors like Amazon and TikTok taking market share away into digital ad sales. And believe it or not, Google's US search and ad revenue is forecasted to fall below 50% for the first time in 18 years. That's if you believe the analyst. Separately, Brendo, there was an interesting story here. There's a bit of a row between Microsoft and Google out in Europe. Microsoft publicly accusing Google of funding and organizing campaigns in Europe to discredit Microsoft, specifically around cloud. It's basically trying to create this community and trying to lay behind the scenes, trying to make it look like they're not the ones funding it, and basically looking to mask its involvement and around the coalition. It's basically saying, hey, you guys are making it harder for people to migrate. You guys are doing all these other anti-competitive practices, so we'll have to see how the EU deals with this.
Yeah, very interesting to keep an eye on. I wanted to show this real quick, just to give everyone a visual perspective of what we were talking about. That's search. 48.5 billion. This is Q2 of this year. So search 48.5 billion, 14% increase year over year, but a huge, and the point here, a huge chunk of their earnings, guys, and revenue.
It's not a small, it ain't chump change. No questions asked. Google's continuing to print. The price action yesterday was not, given it looked like it was making a breakout, or at least making an attempt at a breakout, it was not favorable. And you're going to see like this cluster that we've got going on in the high 60s here on Alphabet. It looked like we were breaking away, and then a run for a 69 break to take us out of here was going to be completely in play. There was a hefty dip, and then of course on that meta news, you had the dip into the prior high. I think, look at where liquidity comes in on events like that. And again, just to show you on a 3-minute chart, I know that it didn't seem like a real wick on a 15-minute, just to prove that's not one of those crazy dark pool wicks. That was an actual wick down there. Go back over to the 15. Look, you go back in these prior highs, volume came in en masse around 165, 166. So I think on an earnings day, if that's where liquidity felt comfortable after that news, this is where to look. It's not going to be top of my radar, not today. I think obviously, it was a rough read on Alphabet, because that initial dip, like it was playable, that first dip, no questions asked. But I didn't have the right read on it. It ended up trending down. I'm going to sit this one out unless we get that support level. I think when a big support level gets made, that's where I want to trade it, not diddling in the middle where it is right now. It's going to have to either clear out 69 or show me that you can get back into that support level. I mean, otherwise, we just go back to the well for a level that worked yesterday. Like Apple worked, 233 has been a great level off Apple. Support to resistance to support. And it's like the over-under almost every single, well, okay, not every day, for like 2 days in a row. And now you look at a third one here. Above 233, look longs. Underneath 233, look short. I mean, Alphabet's diddling in the middle. Sorry, and Apple is pretty much at the price you want. So I'd rather trade this one because it's at the key level that I can trade off of.
Yeah, I won't be trading Google today before earnings, but I just want to say, like, if you're just going to look at this, you've already won. Like, this has been such a huge move off the bottom. I mean, this bottom was 148. And this is not the August 5th bottom. Like, you can go back and look at a lot of stocks. You're like, oh, wow, that's the bottom. No, I'm talking about like a realistic bottom that was made here that you could have bought the dip at into 150. So if you bought 150, you're up to 168. I mean, everything Sharif is saying, he's just reading what's already out there. So the stock market is forward predicting, not backward looking. So right now, if all those negative things are included into Google's stock right now, and we're still breaking out, it looks like, well, I mean, what about if they actually come up with, do we actually know that they're losing any kind of money from search? We don't know anything. We're going to wait to see what they report. What if they report better? Then this stock is going to be up here, 180 something tomorrow. Now, I don't think they're going to. I am nervous as all what about Google because of this recent price action. It's much easier to miss or to get sort of not punished if you're down here at 160 and change. Tomorrow, if we open up down into here, people are going to be like, oh man, like, can we hold support? But if we're down here already, then maybe that report would be seen as, oh, okay, we're already at support. We'll figure it out from here. But I just, I like how high up we are now on Google. I'm not going to take any profit, but I think that it's hard to predict what the earnings are going to be. But at the same time, I would think that if you're long from anywhere down here, it might be a risk off event right there for Google this afternoon. So we'll wait for it. We didn't get.
Sofi just broke 11.
Sofi broke lower. So we didn't get, it's too bad. We got 10% of what we were waiting for here at 75, at 74.92. We got 10% of what I posted. So we didn't even get that. It's too bad because now we would be well in the money, and now we're just flat on this NASDAQ stock here, on the futures. So, all right, let's go back here. Interesting stuff happening in DJT.
DJT, let's touch on this as we continue along here. About 15 minutes to go before the open. 55, if you zoom out onto a daily chart, 55 comes into play a few times here, going back to the beginning of the year, and then I guess it was May. springtime, we got up to that 50-55 area. Here we are again in a matter of just a couple of days for DJT.
Yeah, 22% increase yesterday, more today. We'll have to see where this one finishes off. Highest level since May. Brendo, Trump holds about an average 63% chance of winning. If you look at the betting markets right now on Kalshi, he's got about a 63 to 37. If you look, though, at the polls, just one caveat here, Republicans more likely to bet in the betting markets, but Democrats more likely to vote in the opinion polls, with the Republicans less. So a bit skewed there, but if you look at the opinion polls, about 50-50, 48.6 to 48.4. Really, the only reason we're talking about it is because it largely has to do with the election, DJT.
Of course. We'll see. Maybe the more exciting, trade is actually after, once we have a little clarity and understanding of what's going to come. So thoughts here, guys, for today, for DJT?
Yeah, it actually just pulled back underneath 55, maybe like a couple of minutes ago. So on the daily, this was the spot that, 57 was the spot where I think it was an obvious sort of resistance. If you could have taken it out, get through 57 even, and hold above, that's the next available squeeze zone. Because you're pulling back here, I guess you got to play some patience. If you're looking for longs now, it's rejected that big level on the daily, and now you're trending back in. And if we hold underneath VWAP, the gap to pre-market supports $2.50 in here, although there's a stack bid at 54, that's going to chew through it no problem. There's a couple 100,000 shares sitting at 54 right now, but it's done 16 million, so it'll chew through that. You got 52, you got 50, but you go all the way back into 47, 48 if it ends up trending down. Now, we have to pay for locates, and I know I say this every single time, but is what it is. We have to pay for locates on DJT. We don't have to on Fun, which I just noticed got a little bit of a bid. It's not going to open up SSR at this point, but it's been an easier place to go short when DJT pulls back. For whatever, it is what it is. It's not 100%, they're not directly correlated, but there is at least a little bit of a relationship there, such that when DJT loses the bid, I like going over to Funware. So if we hold underneath VWAP, I'm more likely to trade this short as long as it's underneath $10. And it's got to be careful when it goes SSR, though.
Yeah, we wrote down here, we had talked about it. Someone asked if it was on the note, but it is. It's just up here at the top. I was just saying dip into VWAP, but wait, because you could be wrong. You want to wait to be long. The thing is I feel like the long is fine, but remember, I talked about this yesterday. I thought that this was going to be the high right here. We got to it today. I had said that this thing probably slows down. I said Wednesday or Thursday of this week. So today's Tuesday. So I would feel pretty confident as some of these being close to the high there, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to break it. I mean, that's 57.71 right there is the high. And what I wrote down was, and it's like just an earnings strategy, is just when there's a gap, play it to VWAP. And right now we just broke below it. So now the next level then for me is always the 200 period. And I'd rather not use the 200. I mean, I don't know. This is a minute chart, so we're talking about charting it from 7 o'clock. So we'll just pattern out a realistic 200 period moving average down here at $53. So looks like we might get to that straight off the open here. Remember, we do not have NASDAQ imbalances until 9:25. So right now, we don't see any sort of pressure on this on the open book, but you could see that it is starting to get hit to the downside. I mean, nothing wrong with waking up. You wake up, you see your account up another 15%. Yeah, I could see some selling happening early on this name as we get going. And I just wanted to say that this was the website that Sharif had mentioned there. And of course, there's going to be just the 3 states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Yeah, Michigan's the big one, 50-50, and then Wisconsin apparently this way. But, we talked about how the polls have been before, but that's a nice number if you're supporting, I guess, the left here, which would not be that case. But was it on your guys' screen? I guess it would still be, would it be your right or your left? But anyways, right there for Donald Trump. So, right, okay, good. Thanks for that. Same as it does for me. Thank you, Fabian, for that one. But yeah, so no. Anyways, in play, we will be watching it. Neil mentioned about paying for shorts. Yesterday, I got 1,000 shares for Sharif, and it was 20 cents. So it is virtually free to short this name here at Real Trading. But in order to get the shorts, you got to apply for them and you got to pay for them. So make sure you do that. And there it goes right now.
Well,
it's starting to get a little bit juicy here to that downside. If you're in DJT, it just broke that $54 and didn't even really think about it. All the way down here, honestly, 53 would be a level, but at the same time, we're still 10 minutes away from market open, and we'll see in 5 minutes what those imbalances look like. Seems like it might be to the sell side.
Including this one, Boeing downside right now. Anyways, 1.4%. 1, 2, 3 days in a row here. Potentially, we're back below 150 on this. We talked about it last week. 112.5 million common share offering coming through. The valuation, not what it was the last time we spoke about this, but coming back in a hurry here to these lows on a higher time frame.
They want to raise 19 billion, Brendo, by issuing about 90 million shares of common stock and possibly 5 billion of that to be at convertible securities. But sadly, as the price has decreased, so has the amount that they're able to raise. Now we're talking about 13.95 billion, which is markedly less than obviously that 19. They're looking to maintain their investment grade credit rating because that is on the line right here. S&P Global Ratings basically telling them that they've got to raise money, otherwise they're going to get downgraded. Just want to let you know as well that they did secure, $10 billion in a credit line, and they're looking possibly after this to raise up to 25 billion. So they're really in need of cash.
Yeah, the expenses mounting up here on this strike very quickly. If you have a look at the bottom of the screen as well, heavy volume day, guys, yesterday for Boeing.
Yeah, so it bounced off the 52-week low. I always try to find the silver lining when it comes to Boeing because, yeah, you got to try to keep a positive attitude. No, 146 down here, we actually bounced pre-market off this level. So you got the Alamo down at 146. I don't think that's rocket science. 150 is resistance. It's just hard to get excited about Boeing. I mean, DJT is going to get that 50 level for sure. You got the crypto names out there. We talked about Apple. We haven't talked about Tesla or the chip names. PayPal looks pretty interesting. I don't know that this is the one. It's too far away. You're $2.50 from the support. And that 150, we actually closed above 150, so you're diddling in the middle on Boeing. But if we lose 146, I mean, you can like a level as bounce for the bottom, but it's almost more intriguing if I hate to say it because I have some Boeing shares, but it's actually more intriguing if it loses that bid and you find sellers under 146 for a flat bottom breakdown. But you got to be pretty convinced. You never want to be trapped at lows like that. But if we get through that 3/4 mark, I think looking for continuation at this point on Boeing is going to make some sense. But it's $2 away. You might not get that at the open.
Okay, so DJT is coming in pretty good there. It just broke 53 pretty easily and went right to 52 and wicked that bottom there. So huge move, really. I mean, it's lost about 6% here in just a little bit. So that's about down $5 from 56. 57 was the high today. So, but yeah, again, we said that maybe 53 could be a spot. So let's see if it holds it. I mean, again, forget about that wick down like that. You're going to get people that get marketed out and then unfortunately, or they put that stop order in and it just wipes it. So unfortunately, in the pre-market, you are going to get more dramatic moves because of liquidity. There's a lot of money won't step in until the bell. So you're going to have to wait. But right now, it looks like it can hold 53. Now, remember, none of this move here will count in the halt. So it's going to have to open up and then move your 10% in either direction before you get a halt. So you're going to have to get down to 46, 47 probably, or back up to day's high before you get a halt over there. Yeah, I mean, Neil just covered Boeing. I want to say, on the other side, Mitch talked about airlines maybe getting into some trouble near the year end here. I've been talking about this Jets. I mean, this Jets ETF, I mean, to the point where I was just saying Jets, Jets, and we were sort of talking about Aaron Rodgers. And by the way, Jets fans, I tried to warn you guys about Aaron Rodgers and all that, but, it is what it is. They were 4-4 last year with Zach Wilson and those guys. Now they're 2-6.
What does that even say?
And then now they have Devontae Adams as well. Oh, yeah, and by the way, you fired your coach. So thanks, Aaron Rodgers. Things are going really good. Make sure you cash that $60 million check. But right down here, 16.5 down there for Jets. almost straight to the upside right here for this ETF. So I know this has nothing to do with Boeing. These are the airlines, but I just want to talk about it because I was looking at this the other day, and wow, Delta had a nice move. Jets ETF, a nice move to the upside. Not enough volume to trade it, but an easy way to sort of play all the airlines if you like the space.
All right, let's touch on PayPal here. Q3 earnings coming through this morning. We're back. I zoomed out a little bit here just to give you some perspective. Huge move for PayPal. Just back to, what is that, 3 days ago? We're giving back 3%, yes, which is never good. But, I mean, 3 days worth of a move, not that big of a deal.
No, not too bad. And look, they did well with respect to the actual results. So they beat on EPS. They exceeded, actually slight miss on revenue, but EPS was a bit better. Net income was about $1 billion. That was take-home money. Since the new CEO, Alex Chris's appointment, PayPal stock is up 36% on the year and 42% since he took over. The guide, though, was the bit of an issue here, Brendo. Q4 revenue guidance below analyst expectations, and the EPS for the guide just in line, so not really a huge endorsement.
You've mentioned this a couple times with other companies, not PayPal, but 15 to 20% increase in buy now, pay later services seems like high to me. But anyways, support coming, it seems like, guys, here for 80.
Oh, it's almost like you literally jinxed it. The second you said that, it lost VWAP. Like just now, PayPal lost VWAP. I thought this had a chance to go red to green, which would have been on an earnings play. I always like when something makes that move downside. You get the earnings call, and then they're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And anyone that was short gets trapped, and then you break it out. Well, you can throw that pretty much out the window and stomp on it. It just broke $80 to the downside. Let me just check. Was there imbalances? No, nothing. It's just still Ford's imbalance is now 1.5 million from 1 million, so that continues to look bad. No, but PayPal, it's got to be this 83, 84. You know, what's the 84? Forget about 83 now. It's this 84 level where you closed yesterday. The chances of getting back in here for a fade are slim. I mean, I was looking for this to be a red to green potential breakout at the open after it had shown that big bounce, but all of a sudden, it's pretty clear resistance at the 84. So the level's right. Just going to have to be patient with it. There's a lot to look at in here today with crypto. I mean, Mara actually did bounce almost on a T off of that prior high at 1920. That's one of the first places I'm going to be looking at that. And, of course, we're talking DJT and Funware. But PayPal just have to wait because the 84 is clearly the resistance spot. I would have liked it for a breakout if it could have shown some strength. Unfortunately, that's now abated on PayPal. So we'll just have to wait this one out. If it makes any kind of a bounce, suddenly got to play that level for a fade. It's an over-under for me at 84.
Yeah, look, PayPal, for me, PayPal a little too volatile. So I'll probably pass on that for now. Let's just play a name that has a definite move. Look at Sofi right now. Sofi has a sell imbalance of 300,000 shares. Not a big, huge sell imbalance for something that's obviously done 15 million. But unfortunately, everybody, I said that the kiss of death was this stock going green and then going red. And there's the break. I mean, if you took this break of what we were talking about, 11.15 or whatever it was right there, boy, oh boy, you're doing pretty good. So that was that break level that we talked about there, 11.15. It held it right there, which was genius at one point, came back up and then just went whoop, right down there to the downside. So nice move back in right there through 10.75 now. SoFi goes down 3% right now. Is it down for the count? Yes, unfortunately, I would like to say that. And it is starting to go even lower right now as Anthony Noto and company sell this stock most likely. Just a huge move up again. It's really too bad because this is why I actually have Palantir on my radar, which we didn't get to today. Palantir I have written down as a short just because if this market is weak, I can just see some of these names that have been way heated up here start to come back in. And it's just one of those things where if the market, and look, the market just bumped up. I don't know what's going to happen. But if the market comes in, I'm going to try a 45 short here on Palantir right into this level. We'll see if it can hold it or not. So 45.10, 45.20, we're going to go short. And then I like the break short of 44.50 as well to the downside. So we'll see. Maybe we'll start the Palantir offering soon. but we're getting close right now to open. So let's see if there's any sort of a dip. Before I throw back to you, I just want to see, did I even notice Palantir on here? No, so I don't see Palantir on here at all. So that's a good thing, because I don't want the stock to be influenced by an early market move in one direction. So, okay, there we go, man. DJT around that $50 mark could be an interesting level, that's for sure.
Yeah, and look, the market just got a bit of a bounce. And we're going to go to Sharif, but there were no imbalances of note that caused us to move up there just now. So let's go to Sharif, see what the lesson is today.
With earnings in full swing, guys, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the impact of earnings on the stock price. Check that out with Joe and I on How to Trade at 11.
Thank you very much to Sharif. So just, forward at 1.8 million to the sell side there. And NVIDIA just made a little bit of a pop. It just went almost $1 in here. So it's a simple over-under. Yesterday's bottoms here, the 140 to 140 half. If it's above that price, and again, it's going green, then I want to be looking for continuation longs and trend into 142. But under that, the way that this is sold since that high, got to respect it for some downside. DJT is now underneath 54, but bouncing a little bit off that 52, so continuing to go higher.
That's right.
But Adara, let's ring this bell on a Tuesday in 2 and 1. Bring it.
Let's do this. All right, I'm going to put in some of my stop orders now, including Palantir, including the TQQs, because if this gets spicy, we don't need to be in this one for too long. 75.50 is the TQQ level here. The market is starting to go back to the upside right now. So again, we're trying to play this trend, right? And so let's just right here take a little bit more on the NASDAQ. So we just want to see it, try to hold, and then see if we can break back above. That's 25, so 20,500 was the level of concern that I had. So right now, we'll hold on to it. This is why we didn't average in huge into this level. So that's what's happening right now. Is DJT
51?
Yeah, so there it is. So nice, a little whoosh down there, right off the open. So with the market imbalance sell, I guess, down to 51.50 there for DJT. Okay, we've got the TQs. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and we just had an over-under on Apple there at that 233, right quick. Oh, that was real fast on Apple. So it just pushed in, got to 234, and right back underneath that 233 level. NVIDIA, just got to double check NVIDIA. What's that doing? Probably not going to get an opportunity at NVIDIA. We play Apple to the lower high, and we go back over to NVDA, which was that 140.5. It did exactly the same move. So right into the prior top, and then we're looking for the short off the high on NVIDIA there. DJT, still no test of the $50 level, but that should be a big one. It's still falling, DJT, if you happen to be watching.
Guys, we're doing it again right now. We're 30 handles in the money on the NASDAQ here on that short. Look at this, boom, boom, punch more. Get more out. And by the way, we also are huge here on Palantir, as we talked about this stock coming through again as well. So nice move down for Palantir. Here we go. We are now shorter on Palantir as we break that level that we were worried about here for PLTR. So no Palantir, no cry, but we're also short right now, the futures as well. So wow, Neil, this is a monster day. We're up more now today already than we were yesterday. This is a big day here. This is what happens, man, when you put your you-know-what's on the line and put on some shares. Bang right there, Neil. That's what we're talking about. Let's go Palantir to the grave? I don't know. I hope not. But nice move down there for Palantir. Yes. There it goes, guy. 2 for 2. All right, that's the end of the show. We'll see you guys later. Now it's 9:32. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Wow.
Love it over there. Just got one play. It was at 33 on Apple. Upside, downside, over, under. Now you're pulling back in. I want to get to DJT because it is at 50 right here, right now. Didn't go into a halt, obviously. It's only been a couple of minutes, but it's trying to bounce off this $50 level. If it does an over-under at that 50, that would be a potential play for a bounce, but I'm not going to fight it. This one's falling like an absolute rock. Just going to hang on to the short and not try to fight that long. IBIT's pulling back, but Mara's going up. So Mara's still looking relatively strong here as long as Bitcoin holds at 70,000 and it's above 71 as we speak. So I'm just in one short. That NVIDIA, So there's your over-under on NVIDIA. It popped to 50s. This was me trying to get the short on the way back in. Now you're absolutely tanking. It's slammed. Downside.
Guys, we said we're nervous. We're looking short. We put it right here. Short in play for me early. And here we go, guys. It is an absolute day we're having right now. This is now 80 handles right now for the NASDAQ on the play that we talked about. Not only that, we take more shares. probably than any other break maybe I've ever taken to the downside. Well, yeah, so to the downside here for Palantir. So this is an absolute banger right there here to go. So we've done enough now. And this is the problem is like, now you have to figure out, all right, we're staring at this P&L, and what do we do with it, right? I mean, do we really think this market is going to continue to make this move or not? Because this is an absolutely huge day right now. So I'm just going to start to piece more and more out here. Again, we talked about Palantir short 45, got it. We talked about Palantir short 44.50, got it. Largest position ever for Palantir. And then we talked about feeling weak in the NASDAQ right there as well. 70 handles right there in the money on positions, like shares, right? So there you go, man. Big time movements, big time trading. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. You know, we can't do this without you. Well, we could, but it just wouldn't be as fun. All right, so nice move there for PLTR.
Oh my goodness. So that was 50 was a little bit of a hold on DJT. So you try to get back. It was so fast to get that 50 break back up. It was at 51 pretty much instantaneously. So DJT, again, just going absolutely ham. Bitcoin's pulling back here. It just got underneath 71. I'm not pulling the trigger on Mara when it's bleeding, but it's weird to me. I mean, Mara is not really giving you the play back into 19 yet. So I'm not going to be early on this. We'll just have to be patient, let things settle down a little bit. Apple came back into VWAP. Now it's going to retry that high. If it breaks out the 40s, jumping out of Apple, because the bounce is pretty good. It was NVIDIA that was actually the better over-under play. Like, that was the better short on NVIDIA, but that's the one I missed. Got to wait for VWAP, a retest of 140 to try to get back into that one. And again, no catching of falling knives on MARA. Want to see where Bitcoin tries to settle. IBIT hasn't even had a green candle. But DJT, that's the one that got away from us there at that 50 level. Snapped up, regained that 50, and already at $53 and still going. Like, this is an absolute rocket ship right now.
All right, hey, what's up, guys? I really want to thank you so much, Adam, there. We've said this a bit again. Real seems real, let's go. I'm so glad you visited here, Adam, because you could really see you know, what we're doing here every day. And I mean, I want to thank Adam for visiting. And I know I spent a good amount of time with him. So thanks, Adam, for coming through. And yeah, thanks for keep on posting and some of your ideas in the chat as well. As we've all got ideas, you just got to make them happen for you. All right, so that's Palantir. Nice move to the downside there. So we're out now of 90% of Palantir, and we are out of, I'll have to look at how many shares I had exactly, probably about 70% of the futures. So we're almost out. We're going to look for something else, but we just got to calm down. And, you know, we've made the day goal there in the first 2 minutes. So let's just relax, see what positions we're thinking about, and move forward with that. There are also numbers at 10 o'clock. So I'm just going to catch my wits and throw it back over to Adara.
McDonald's trying to break out of this resistance that we've experienced basically since that drop on the E. coli news on Wednesday. MCD around that key 302 level, up about 2% here despite an initial drop on earnings. They did beat for earnings per share and for sales with their report. They also said that they're actually going to reaffirm some aspects of their outlook because they are assuming there's going to be no material impact from the E. coli outbreak. So they're assuming the E. coli outbreak not impacting the business. Potentially a positive note there in the first. We've really had the CEO speak on that outbreak since it happened last week, guys.
That 50 on DJT was clean, but almost impossible to catch. But that said, it's halted to the upside. 54, tap is 54.25 and 54.09 was a current halt price. Yep. Mara is absolutely gonzo. So there's it doesn't quite get down to 19, obviously, but you're above VWAP. Bitcoin's making a big bounce here. So the crypto long is still the way to go. If you're looking at, we said today, I mean, DJT, crypto long, I haven't looked at the nuclear names, but you know, they've been running.
Hopefully they're going nuclear.
Well, that's what they usually are doing.
Right there. Look at Mara, guys. Another one right there. This is another one of our plays. Mara breaking 1965. Remember we said, I mean, Neil just brought up Mara, and I was like, you know what? I'm bidding 1911 right there on Mara. Remember I was like, we're bidding 19 teens. We were actually bidding 11s there. It came in. I wish I was bidding teens right there. We just missed that. But we'll take a piece out right here. We're going to try to let this one go for a little bit. So, all right, Palantir made the move back. So again, we only have 10% left. We talked about that. So, and that's when it was back into the 20s. I still think it's worth a reload here. So I'm going to put on a little bit more of, oh, what price did we get there on Palantir? Okay, well, we just put on some more there. We got 45s, not great. Okay, so that's where we're short now, Palantir. I'm going to watch out for my stop order here and watch out for this break higher. Okay, so there's the break right now. Again, we don't have on that many shares, but there is the break higher. So this looks like it wants to go. That was a nice bid higher there. Let's put our stop, whatever that high was, see if we can get a little bit more short there on that fake break. 44.70 out for us there, 44.71. We'll put that as a stop, make sure it goes pending there for Palantir, and we'll try to short a little bit more if it does pop one more time. But that 44.70, let's just see if that wants to go. But a big trade there for Palantir early, so it's all good on that front. And then the TQ's trying to hold as well near the lows now. So let's see if that continues to go lower. I'm going to take out another bid here on the NASDAQ. There it is right there, 50 handles. So again, we're still there. We've given some back because Palantir came back up. And then Mara, we only got out of 20% up there. We got a couple fills in the 70s. We got one at 75, and we got one at, so we got 71s and 75s out for 20%. So that's it. And we'll wait to see what happens now with Mara as it's pulling back into VWAP.
Yeah, back into VWAP was NVIDIA, which I just got in at VWAP, but over VWAP is Apple. I'm taking another leg out here. As a matter of fact, no. Obey rule. Over under level, it slams back down, it comes over on higher lows when the market's at the low. Get out. NVIDIA, which was the other over under play, it's just a different, it's just a different beast. I mean, one of these two things is underneath VWAP and falling. The other one of those two things was over VWAP and trying to climb. I mean, it speaks for itself down there. Mara just pull back. If we get 19, something very different has happened on Mara. But it's worth noting that the pre-market, the tops on IBIT just came in and you got a bit of a pullback. So working the dip, as long as we hold trend on Bitcoin, and I'm looking at IBIT, then I'm still going to like Mara. We're not going to get 19s, just got to play the first available dip into prior highs and then back into VWAP, which we didn't even get VWAP as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to focus away from Apple and over to NVIDIA, continuing some shorts there. Over under that 140, it's back underneath VWAP. AMD probably is as well. We should be open up any second now on DJT, probably in about 30 seconds or so. But we just got a 39 just broke on NVIDIA. And DJT is going to open up pretty soon. We'll see what happens here. If this can take out that top at 57, oh man, for it to have rinsed that far down, to take out the high now would be nasty for anybody that might have got trapped in that short, I'll tell you that much. So should we open to just open up now? Not a lot of bid here. Immediately right back underneath VWAP, but not a huge drop, not the way it was dropping before on DJT. Yeah, the bid, now it's going to go into a down halt. Nope, fake halt. So I was looking for it to get up, maybe break that 57. As you can see, it's headed right back into that 51, it seems. DJT is unwinding and going into a down halt. Let's see if I can get Funware short. Wait a minute. Oh, Funware's SSR. That's right. So DJT going into a down halt. Funware is short sell restricted, which means you need an uptick. Oh, no, we don't have free locates on it today. That's why. But it is SSR.
All right. Yeah, wild action over there on Donald J. Okay, so we're long on Mara. So we bought that VWAP dip right there into 1950. So we're long there off that trade on Mara. So a nice little dip by opportunity, able to take advantage of that back into the 50s. And there goes Mara right now. We're only long at 58, so we'll take a sum out here at 68 if we can get it, and then watch out what's happening with that trade there. We'll see. We did take more out, obviously, on the futures. We sort of talked a little bit about that one being down into here. Now it's starting to rip back up. So now we have even less on this trade. We have about 15 to 20% left on that. And then, a trade that, trade that we have right now that's slightly reloaded is back to flat. I'm actually going to take a piece out. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can break. Let me see if we take a piece out there. We'll take out 10% at 50s, which we just get there. And now we'll wait to see if it drops even lower than that on a reloaded position there on Palantir, which we had talked about earlier. So far, so good here. Let's go over and see what Adair's up to.
Yeah, what an exciting morning here. We have apparently new all-time highs for spot gold, but it's also worth noting Sofi here, SOFI, down about 12% despite initial strength on a very strong earnings report. They beat across the board. They actually raised here their guidance here above estimates and their prior guidance for fiscal 2024 revenue. I'm not seeing any reason for the drop. It could have been something said in the call, but did a pretty deep dive here. It seems like I'm seeing some speculation there of potential manipulation. Either way, SOFI, it's worth noting here, has a short float of 17.8%. So pretty significant short float for SoFi, which is making new low of days as we speak, guys.
Yeah, so it's obviously short sell restricted at this point on SoFi, so it puts an SSR bounce in play. It's just like you're cascading through the $10 breakdown. Look, if you look at the daily chart on SoFi, you do have like this level here at about 960 as well. So if you're usually looking for SSR bounces at key support levels in there, fun just came back.
Look at Mar.
A little bit is funds just coming back in. We haven't opened up on DJT, but I'm going to be hunting for an SSR reversal play here in SoFi. Just looking for it to make some kind of a charge up and hold one of these even dollar levels. 980 is attempting as we speak. DJT will be open up in about 2 or 3 minutes or so. As I said, Funware right underneath. When we halted, it was about 9:15 on Fun, so that's what I want to give Fun to. So Mara's going back to the upside. Eyeballs on SoFi because it's incoming. The 975 to 960 to 975 levels where I'm looking for an SSR bounce play.
All right, we're here again, guys, and you can see right now just by looking at Mara, this is another pretty big trade, man. I mean, we talked about that, taking out 65s, and then we were able to get that gift down below there. So we will give some back there on that last move for Palantir, but Palantir still P&L number 1, obviously, as we talked about what we were doing on that one. So pretty proud of what's happening there with PLTR. Let's see how far that one wants to go. Hopefully higher now than where we are. Good trade for us on Mara. Again, that's exactly the trade that we had written down right on here, right on the sticky note. And it was a pretty simple trade for me. And it was just, you know, right there, 1965 pre-market break, whatever it is, look break long, whatever that pre-market high is. Unfortunately, we missed that dip buy. So, you know, missed opportunity on the dip, but we only missed it by 5 cents. So it was pretty close to coming into play right there. All right, so Palantir is out. Mara's trying to rip. And the TQs. So again, we just got another piece out right here. Wow, we came all the way back to 75. All right, I think this is a short, maybe into 75 one more time, but that's all that we're gonna do. Let's just give it a break here and see what it wants to do at 75. So that's gonna be a trade for me to continue to look at there on the TQs back up near 75. So we'll probably get out if we take out that high there, 75.10. So that will be our stop order on that, and then we'll go from there. So Mara pulling back a little bit. We are out of only about half of that trade, so be careful here on a Mara pullback.
Yeah, it looks like it wants that VWAP again, but I mean, it's still, I mean, Bitcoin is still trending higher, but just very quickly, that reversal on SoFi came quick. Like it held that 980 immediately in front of that 975. It just had a refresher at $10. Which is broken now. I think the hunt for VWAP is pretty much on. Has to hold above 10, obviously, to get there. Gonna get offers out into VWAP, so we're ready for it if it comes back the upside. So DJT just opened and is holding underneath the halt to the downside here on DJT. So DJT retesting that 50 level. This is, I mean, obviously it bounced at 50 right off of the open. If it gets back through that halt price, which was 51.5, I think that'd be bullish. But as long as it's underneath, I'm going to be looking for places to add to Fun. Now you're losing the $50 level here on DJT down at 49.5 and still going to the downside. Yeah, I'm trying to add to Fun. I have 899s on Fun as DJT continues to go, and I'm trying to add to it here on Sympathies. You're going to said downside on DJT. The only things we're in are Fun, SoFi, and then still some Mara as well. As yeah, now a little bit of a bleed happening on DJT. 48s now coming in here on DJT. There was no 50 bounce a second time. It's going to try and make one at that 48 level, though. So we're not really into any of the big cap tech names anymore. It's kind of crazy, but hey, it's one of those days, man. We knew crypto was moving. We knew DJT was going to be a mover as well, so we wanted to respect it. Now that it's bouncing, oh yeah, that's a bit of a bounce. I should take some out of the Funware there. Anytime I see DJT bounce like that, it's like, bounce off the low. You just saw DJT make a bounce. Get some out there. Got to respect it.
Yeah, good one there. Yeah, looking at other stocks that could potentially move in the direction of the other one that's halting. If you can get one that doesn't halt all the time, a little bit easier to trade there. So good moves there. All right, so we did miss that 75, but we got another piece there. We got 70 somethings. There on the reload, so we'll wait to see if we can get a piece out there. It is breaking through 60 now. So here comes the short rate back in. We are back into Palantir. This time we're just trying to scalp back a little bit of what they took from us on that one play there on Palantir. We'll see if it comes back down in right now. Let's go futures. Nice move back in right now for the TQ. Oopsies, that's still Palantir, my bad. For the TQQs. So there's the play coming back in. Yeah, nice little reload there. Another 30 handles on the reload right there for Palantir, for the futures. So far, so good there on this play. We're going to wait to see what does happen with DJT, of course, as Neil's been looking at.
Nabati, I was never in Tesla.
No.
There was a question about, like, why do we get out of Tesla shorts? No, the only short I was in, we had VWAP underneath on NVIDIA, played to the low of the day, then got out underneath the local high. Now it's back battling above VWAP, so I want it either at the 140 prior close or underneath that VWAP. So that's pretty much all that we did. Sofi, okay, Sofi is starting to lose the bid a little bit here. So after that initial bounce off of 980 in front of that 75, you're trying to hold on to $10 here on Sofi. Still want this one to get up to VWAP. Let's get up to, get some 1020s in there as well, something in the quarter. So you're banking a higher low on Sofi, but I don't want it losing 10 and getting all the way into that previous bottom. Remember, it's down 10% for a reason, not because things are going well, ultimately. So DJT is going into an uphold.
Blam.
That stock is wild. That $50 level on DJT, like it gets there and it blasts when it's able to hold through. So once again, going to the upside is DJT into another halt. This is now the second halt to the upside. Mara bounces off VWAP. So VWAP bounce right back at these highs, but there's a supply zone at these 70s here.
Thank you.
So got to get some out on. Oh no, did I just punch out of all of Mara? I just did.
All right, guys, right now, Mara, we are ripping, man. 1950 right there for Mara. Nice trade right there, back up to the upside. So there it goes, man. Just trade your book, man. Trade what you write down, and you will be okay. We're not at our highest point of the day, but we are very, very close to that. And I want to thank Mara for that play. And I also want to thank the Qs. The NASDAQ is making another move down here a little bit off of that reload. But let's just wait to see. Like, this could be really something special here, Mara. Like, if it continues to go and Bitcoin wants to... Mara's trying to buy brisket right now. Yeah. Nice move to the upside. Yeah, we got it. You got to get that going. All right, so there it is right there. A 1980 right there coming in for Mara. That has been the high of the day. And again, Randy, it's just as it was written right here. I mean, we had all of our plays today. Palantir, the short that was given is going to be P&L number 1. The futures trade is going to be P&L number 2. Mara is going to be P&L number 3. And it's all written right here, and it's all exactly as we took it. So I like when trades work out. I don't know about you, but so far so good here. But we got to still get out of these trades. So let's get some more out here on Mara, maybe some 70s, and then we'll wait to see if the futures want to continue to bleed down. But so far so good. And then DJT still in the halted spot here as well. So there it goes, man. $52 to $53 right now. Tesla, yeah. I mean, there's so much moving out. Imagine, guys.
Yeah, I know we were never in Tesla at any point. Tesla is moving to the downside, but was never in the stock. At no point have I been in Tesla.
Look at
down at the 260 level. It's looking nasty overall. I mean, it's trying to bounce off of prior lows, prior highs, so 260 is a level. I think 255 is just as important if it does lose that 60 level, but not really that focused on MARA. There was, with the halts to the upside on DJT, I did jump out of fun. And weird thing about it is they halted up, so I got out on fun, and it's still going lower. So I think this is still going to be wait for the opportunity on DJT to roll and then go into the short trade, wait for a VWAP or something along those lines. But when it comes to Sofi, which is we're still in, it's right back into the lows. Forget about the 75. The stop is now a break even. If it gets underneath, I got in at 81. If it gets underneath 80, I'm just going to get out. I got out of most of Sofi halfway to VWAP, and the rest we're still waiting for that top. So DJT on the halt. NVIDIA's challenging back above VWAP. See, this is why we're not in NVIDIA short anymore. See the higher low, the hold of VWAP pressing into the highs. at this point, if you're going to try and short this thing, it's got to be at the resistance and not underneath VWAP. So just play the patience game. It was the over-under at that previous close. Let it get back to that level. Don't try to fight it too hard. It will be about 1 or 2 minutes, I think, we're going to be open in DJT, and then we'll go from there. But still watching that NVIDIA to see it challenge that high. We only shorted it off of VWAP. The high has yet to come.
All right, we have some numbers coming up.
Do we?
At 10 o'clock. All right, we just got some 83s out there on Mara. We just tweeted it out again. It's a big one. 954. What's up, Adara?
We have here ahead of the JOLTS job and consumer confidence numbers coming through at 10 a.m. We do have Boeing on watch, up more than 1%, initially down today, basically announcing that they have priced this public offering that was this offering here of these common shares that was initially announced pretty recently. So BA on watch. Nice recovery with volume for Boeing, guys.
10. Okay. I'm just going to make sure. I'm going to switch up this TQQ. The stop 75.11. I was going to give it much higher than that, but because we've already cashed out there, you know, stubborn is a thing that, you know, when you're trading and just generally in life, you don't want to be. So I'm not going to fight a short if this number comes out somewhere north, right? And I mean, if this starts to really try to rally the market, then we will figure it out from there. So 74.95 right now. We'll put on a little bit of a short right there. And hey man, Raider Trader, yo, what's going on? Here he is right here, $100. He says mRNA. He wants us to look at that, or he's looking at it as well. Let us know, Raider, what you've got thinking about or cooking for mRNA. And he's talking about tomorrow. He'll be here in the building tomorrow. Will be Raider Trader. We talked about that last week. We talked about that yesterday. So he's coming down. Thank you, Raider Trader, for that $99.99 right there. Maybe we'll grab some pizza for that. Raider Trader will be in the building here tomorrow, straight from the streets of Ohio, baby. All right, so there it goes right now. Mara, you know, thank you so much, Raider Trader, for doing that. And thank you so much, Mara, for continuing to go as planned. Nice move there to the upside for Mara. Give me those 85s as we wait for DJT. Oh, it's open now, $52. DJT moving around. And I was going to say, that was great. Great patience there by Neil to trade Funware and then get out of it when this was halting up there. No harm, no foul. So now we'll wait to see what happens with DJT coming through here.
Insane on this thing.
Yeah,
well,
43 million.
It was disciplined to get out, but Funware just bled another 5%. Anyways, it didn't even care about the halt to the upside. It just bled anyways. But look, a rule's a rule. You halt to the upside, I'm getting out of it. So it is what it is. In that moment, like DJT can do anything and go to 57 and go to 60, but you're actually still seeing it bleed. Funware is dead. It was a sympathy play in the first place, so it doesn't even matter at this point. If you lose 50 or you gain 50, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Look, let's see if we can go back over. I keystroked out of Mara there, offering the 19.7s, but the trend is still higher lows, higher lows. The play was into the prior high that held. So if you don't get that trade, the next one is pullbacks into prior high, pullbacks into VWAP, pullbacks into prior high, pullbacks into VWAP. Just rinse and repeat over and over again. $20 breakout. If there's size there, I don't mind it. And just like we said, NVIDIA, just got to be able to get away from it, man. Like, look how strong this sucker is now. So the initial short, nothing wrong with it. But now, all of a sudden, you're powering to the upside on NVIDIA, and I am not going to sit in front of a moving freight train. But eyeballs are still going to be on DJT for that next move. I still think it has, because of all these rinses, it's got some squeeze potential. But the next, I want it to pop so it can give me an entry into Funware, to be honest with you. That would be the ideal setup. Give a pop. Let me be able to short back into Funware. And Sofi is still chilling out on that SSR bounce. It's just at the $10 level. It was at 980. Wanted to get into VWAP. Halfway there, just waiting for it to make that VWAP retracement. Always a VWAP retrace on an SSR bounce. Was it?
You know, we do have numbers coming out very, very soon. So, all right. We've already gotten out, so we are now out of about 2/3 of our Mara trade, if not a little bit more than that, as we just got high 80s. So we got 86s and 87s there twice. So that was a good trade. And okay, and here we go. We are in our last sort of little position here for the futures. And, so we just reloaded it. This is what I say when we talk about having some patience, man. That's what we did right there. We waited for this level. We didn't reload it at all until we got to the 200, and then we got right back up to the highs. So whether this is house money completely. So we'll give back about 20% or so if we do take out that high, which is, you never want to give anything back, but, trading's about making calls. And this is why I say there's nothing more important than share size, because, right here, I'll go 1 for 2, it looks like, if this short doesn't work, and we'll still be up. So you put on share size on trades that, you really believe in. And we talked about this early, believing in the short. So we put shares on, and this is how you survive those plays. Because if you're just going to randomly assess shares and just do this and do that and not actually believe in plays, then you can't. It's like Palantir, right? Palantir, we're wrong here, but we're right early. So this is the #1 stock here today, and this will be #2 even after this hit, if it is a hit. So it's about putting it on at the right time, trading with shares, and just going for it, right? And so right here, if the TQs comes down in, I don't like this trade now because we have numbers in 30 seconds. So it is giving me a little bit of a jittery situation here because these numbers are better. They're ripping to the north side right now. Actually, with that being said, let me take out 10% right here at 88 if we fall back into that level just to take off a little bit of pressure. All right, Adair, 10 seconds till numbers.
We're waiting here on JOLTS job openings, the key print here, and coming out in about 4 seconds for the month of September. Previous 8.04, consensus here 7.99 million, forecast 7.8 million. Actual number here lower than expected, 7.443 million, forecast of 8 million, previous of 8.04 million. So well lower than expected here for that JOLTS job openings number. I'm just waiting to see if we have that consumer confidence print coming out. In the meantime, I can give you JOLTS job quits, which are a little bit lower than expected as well. 7.071 million versus 3.084 million. It also looks like our previous JOLTS job openings number here for August was revised. Initially 8.04 million, revised lower here to 7.86 million. So just to recap, lower than expected JOLTS job opening print and also a lower revision for the previous month. I'm still not seeing CP consumer confidence. We're going to check back in on that. In the meantime, let's see what the market's doing. We do have the Qs finding a bit of a base here. Right now, slightly positive on the day and actually outperforming the SPY. Lots of earnings on watch here. We do have PayPal right now down about 6% here, beating across. They beat here on EPS, missed on sales, and they actually guide a decrease there for their Q4 non-GAAP earnings per share. We also have Pfizer right now down on the day, initially trading a little bit higher here. They did beat across the board. Let's see if we have that CB consumer confidence in. As of right now, yes, we do. This came in above expectations, 108.7 versus the consensus of 99.5, forecast of 98.5, and previous of 99.2. So higher than expected consumer confidence, lower than expected JOLTS job openings, guys.
And that was wild. We actually got, when that came out. It gave
a jolt?
Yeah, that was a big jolt there. So when that number came out, we first got bids down here at 80s. And then we got taken out at the top. And then I was like, maybe that is the top, and I re-shorted it. So again, we talked about the danger of being in numbers. So there's the win. So there's the short. There's some wins as it fell in. We got 82s on that. And then we were just short here, 95s. So it wasn't a huge trade. Then we wind up taking the L, I guess, net. I'm looking at my net. But then we shorted a little bit back in, about half the position. Now waiting to see if it takes out that top where we'll get out here, 75.21. So it looks like a decent number there for sure. Mara kept on going higher. So this, it dipped down, but it's now at its highs again for Mara. So let's not worry too much. The futures trade, we're already out of 60% of that reload, so I don't know where it's going to go from here. But right now, Mara, let's take advantage of this move and get some more. Come on, Mara. Or I might just punch some out here. Okay, we didn't have to punch any out. We just got some more out there at 82. We'll wait for 85s. But right now, all good. We've given a little bit back today, about 20% back from our tops. But at the end of the day, man, we're still here and still kicking. So what was that? Sorry,
Bitcoin is at 71.9 and making a run at 72. 72 was the lower high. Just here it is. 72 was the lower high resistance, so it could battle back in here. Now Mara's been outpacing. Whoops, I'm still on DJT. I thought I hit enter. Okay, so let's go to Mara. DJT still underneath that whole price. If this breaks it out, I'm getting out of funware if it breaks out that top. Still want to look for some kind of a breakout long on DJT. I haven't taken a long yet in DJT. I did miss that initial 50 level. No, but when we just made another bounce back higher, above that prior high, I didn't get a dip into VWAP, so now we're going to be long over the 80s into 12s, 20s. If we break 20, I'm probably going to add to it, but let's take some out in front of that $20 level. But DJT going higher as we speak. I haven't taken a long yet, but I am looking for a breakout. It's holding 50 several times now. Just needs to make some higher lows and break out that next available top. Sofi is still chilling. Bitcoin is absolutely flying. Nvidia is no longer short.
Everything has changed.
Yeah, I mean, everything is actually, I mean, they just put in a trend line, and Nvidia is putting in a potential reversal off of that trend. But let's be patient with it. If it's actually a reversal, then it needs to close underneath that bottom. It's bouncing off support. That means it's still trend up. So it was an early short, but now it's looking like a heck of a long opportunity in Nvidia. But I'm not chasing any highs, not today. Let's be patient with it. Find something that's still going. Like you just made a new fresh high on IBIT. So that's why you're getting a move again here in Mara. And I bet you CleanSpark's doing okay too. It's not that we're ignoring. We're not ignoring. It's just CleanSpark's having a good day, but it hasn't broken out the top. Actually, not as strong. So Mara is the right one to go to. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. The pullback into prior high. We were asked about CleanSpark. It did exactly that. It's just not giving the follow through. You want it to be giving you that follow through when BTC is ramping to the upside like it is. But I think this is actually relatively weak. I'd be a little bit cautious with CleanSpark if we keep trending higher. But if there's anything you guys are trading, you want to let us know what you're into or want to talk about, you got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So make sure you hit that subscribe, throw some symbols in there, throw some questions in there if you got them. Yeah, all of a sudden CleanSpark, if Bitcoin pulls back, the fact that CleanSpark wouldn't break the high, that might make it a nice mean reversion trade on CLSK.
All right. Yeah, so look over there. We did get stopped out. I'm putting on a little small. I wanted to get 75.30s into 75.50 because the more I looked at this TQ trade, I didn't really want to give it up. I had sort of talked about wanting to get it into this 75.50 area from yesterday afternoon, which we never broke. So I was trying to give that a little bit more room there to breathe. So now we are doing that. A little bit less shares to begin with. And then we'll see about taking something up at 30 and just give it like that 15 cents just to see. I want to try to test that level. And if it goes higher, fine. I mean, the market has definitely changed. We wanted to make sure that we were right early and took advantage of that, and we did. So now, spitting some back into this, those numbers changed a little bit. I mean, the jobs is what people are going to be looking at right here. Oh, so let's be careful with all of that. All right. I don't know what Mara was just doing right there other than following Bitcoin, but bang, I guess. So right now on Mara, we have like that 10% left, maybe even less on Mara right now. And you could see what we're doing. We just got a 93 fill and a bunch more here at 80. So as the market went for a jog north side there, we did our best to take out Mara. I mean, I was talking about sort of how the NASDAQ and Bitcoin are somewhat correlated. Today, I mean, Bitcoin's making a move, so we might as well take it out if it can't break through 72,000 and then maybe play a dip buy again. But we have 10% left. Dipping back into VWAP is normally a spot that I like, so maybe this is something that we wanted to do. My stop on Mara has always been breaking through that 40 level, so we've never broken there until we put it in right here, so that's the level there. We haven't broke in, so maybe this is worth a little bit of a retest here long. Let's do it. Let's just punch some 55s now. So we'll put some more long in right now, looking at that 40 level for a break.
Yeah, it looks like, no, it's losing that VWAP right quick. And there was a mean reversion here on, it's breaking for sure. Yep. There was a turn on BTC as we're speaking. It's going right there. So BTC with a mean reversion as we speak. I just said CleanSpark was a short and then didn't go over to play it. But yeah, Bitcoin just made that pullback. This is what just happened, and you can't chase that. Yeah, you can't chase that. CleanSpark just lost VWAP and all the way went down to 1280. If we do not get a nice bounce here in BTC, then this one I think actually sets up as more of a short trade than anything else. Nvidia, which we still like for a bit of a trend trade here as well, that's starting to pull back. It's now closed underneath trend. Looks like a VWAP retrace. This is a level that we're working off of, but didn't get the short initially at that open. So we're going to play into this. You have 140 lower highs, 140.60 on NVIDIA as it tries to go higher. But that was a hefty pullback there on IBIT. Just one more here before we go over. DJT is now all of a sudden very calm off that 50 level. Higher low. Look at the wick, 1 wick under 50. You're now starting to hold that 50 level. You got this whole price at 52. It needs to be able to take out 52.5 really VWAP, dropping. But it's really starting to base out a little bit here on DJT. If it loses 50, I'm going back over and punching Funware short.
Oh, shoot.
There. The last short that we had, we ended up going red on Fun as a DJT did not really do much of anything consolidating here. So if DJT breaks out, I don't do anything with Funware. I want to look to get into this above VWAP. If we lose 50, I'm shorting Funware, which is still on trend to the downside. But it's already back at VWAP on IBIT. Got to wait for it to make some kind of a bounce. And really, might just look at VWAP on IBIT technically. Pre-market lows, highs, VWAP sitting right in there. Might as well let this bounce. Instead of using it as a futures, might actually just look at this VWAP bounce directly on IBIT. But I'm not taking my eyes off DJT. Those level twos I'm watching. I mean, it's NVIDIA, reversion, it's DJT. If it breaks down, you know I'm going to hit Funware. And then IBIT, which is bouncing off VWAP as we speak.
Yeah, again, Raider Trader is going to be here tomorrow, another $100 here. He wants to give people $50 for a YOLO, and he's going to give it to members. So wants you to drop your PayPal in there. So shout out to Raider Trader. I don't know how to best do that, but Bears vs. Bulls can maybe help you with that one. Okay, we're reloaded on this one right now. We just got a decent futures play right there. We got 95s. We'll see. That's quick little 7, 8, 9, 10 handles. We'll see if it wants to fall back in just a little bit more right there. Yeah, so Mara did not hold, and there it goes. So breaks through there. There's 40s. Again, we tried to load up down there, but you know what? Now that I'm seeing this is near that bottom, okay, it's probably worth something down here. So let's just try it. Just small. We've just missed it. I just bid 29s. We'll see if we can get it there. Watch out. That bottom is 14. Let's just give it a go. I mean, we've seen crypto bounce before, obviously, and Mara's done this today. So 19, 15. That's the level that we missed earlier on. So we'll buy some 32s right there on Mara, and then see if we can get a little bit more back in. We'll buy a little bit more, and then we'll buy some 20s if we can get it. And then here we go. We'll put that stop right there at 1909. How about that? We'll do that as a stop, and then we'll see where we can go from there. It looks like the futures are trying to go back and forth a little bit here, so we'll figure out what's going on now. But Mara with a nice move back up. There it is. Let's take out 10% of our position here. Another 10% up near 50 if we can get it. Bang. Right there. Easy come, easy go on MARA, I guess. Nice move back up there to the upside as we'll take some more out, trying to play off that bottom. We should have been a little bit more aware of that and sat there and got a much better price, but we didn't. So there it goes, right back up to the upside goes the market. So nicely done there. If you're trading the futures, we did get some out. This is not a very heavy position. We are looking to get more around 30s, which is the high, and then giving it to 75.50, I believe. 75.40, actually. I didn't even want to give it that much room. I don't know why I put 40s, but I did. So we're going to give it to 75.40 here, just trying to give it some room. But there's the short there on the TQQs, reloading that market. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, the market's up at that top. So, like, I know SoFi is moving, but rules are rules. It's a play to VWAP.
Rules are rules.
That's the play. So I'm out of like 95% of the position. Again, it's just an SSR play. SoFi does this, it seems like every earnings session that it's up, which is if it is up significantly, usually it waits until the open. This time they decide to sell it off right away. So that's what SoFi's chart looks like. It doesn't matter that it's made a bit of a bottom. At this point, if it gets underneath 10, I get out of that last 5%. We'll hold the other 5 to see if it can break above VWAP. IBIT, oh boy, okay. Like, so there was the bounce on IBIT. It wicked VWAP, came back above 80. Looked like for a second it was cruising back up into those highs, and it looks like we're going to retest VWAP in here. So you're right back testing down to VWAP, it looks like. I'm going to wait for the 75s. I got it back to 80 and got 83s. Let's just be a little bit more patient there on IBIT. We didn't really get into VWAP as much as we would have liked. DJT is still struggling. You know what? There just might not be a long in DJT today. Like the ones that have come in, Like you had to be like, what, randomly picking 48. The first one off 50 was the real one. Now you're trying to wick through that 50 again. If it holds under 50, like I said, I'm going to go over into Funware. But DJT, no breakouts. It's all trend down. I guess it's just a bit of a trap, unfortunately, on DJT, unless you've been able to catch one of these like crazy reversal bottoms. So let's see if that 50 can hold. You got to give it a few more shekels here and give it another chance. NVIDIA, bounce VWAP as well. So it looks like the short in NVIDIA just not really coming in here. Higher lows being put in overall. So you can like it, but it doesn't matter. AMD strong as well, up 1.4%. Looks like this one is doing what we hoped it would do yesterday, which is continue its break. Over 160. It's hunting for some highs. The only thing I don't like about it is you're reporting tonight on AMD. I'd rather be playing NVIDIA if I can, but I like that one short under the 140. Now I have to look for some kind of a long entry, I suppose, but I don't want to touch AMD in here, so we're just in IBIT and Sofi, and DJT not really setting up for us, unfortunately. We thought that would be the big one today, and just haven't been able to find a trade in it myself, speaking. Let's go to Adair.
Keep an eye on Tesla and some of these AI-related names. We do have Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, reportedly, I'm seeing this circulate on Twitter, apparently, that he's planning to double his AI startup XAI. So Elon Musk apparently making comments suggesting that he's looking to double XAI. Again, I'm not seeing where these were said. It doesn't look like he tweeted these, but this is being circulated on social media. So keep an eye on TSLA and some of these AI-related plays here, guys.
Put it in the...
Okay, hey, Raider Trader, like another $100 over here. This guy, save some money, man. You got to take me out to dinner, right? Okay, so right here, new plan. He wants everyone to go to X. Happy Tuesday, join these legends. He's going to be coming here in a couple of days, or tomorrow, actually. Thank you, Raider Trader, for that. We'll give another thumbs up. How do I give a thumbs up to this? I have no idea, but okay. There it is. Thank you, Raider Trader, again, for all of your support, and we'll catch you on the flip side, man. Have a safe travel. And we'll see you very, very soon. Again, just reloaded, boom. Putting this name back on board right here is the TQQ. I am nervous about this short 100%, which is why we are starting to get out. I do not want to be stubborn. We're above VWAP. We're above, we're above, we're above. So let's not think too, like, you know, convincingly that this market's coming back down. So I'm going to put some, okay, well, I mean, we'll take bids when they come through right now. So we're going to do that. We're at 03s. Let me put another bid at 10 here. Not overly, like I said, not overly excited. There we go. We'll take it, Phil. Not overly excited that this move does happen for us, but I do not mind the move. So that's what we're going to wait for now to the downside. We have been reloaded right now on Mara. So we've made a lot of trades already today. This Mara reload has been okay, but it has not gone up for us. We got some out there at 43s. That's it, man. And then it comes back in. We do not have anything out on this most recent reload. If we can get like even a couple pennies on this one, maybe that would be good, because our stop is now just 10 cents away. So we got to be very, very careful for that. Michelle Hebert, what's up, my guy right there? He says, hey, Neil Roberts, long time no see. GME, still got those calls at 2050 chart looking good into next week. So what do we think about that chart? We'll look at GME for you in just a minute. Okay, so I only have 2 trades on right now. We're trying to watch out for Bitcoin 71.6.
It's trying.
Just watching it. I mean, Mara will move quicker than that. Like, it's like Mara will just drop down, and then, you know, you're going to get stopped out before you can even really look at the price. Like, this could be 71.5, and you're just going to get stopped out, right? So, like, just like right now. So if you're using this as pennies, this is moving in hundreds. So you got to be careful with that one. But hey, man, we'll take a Bitcoin drop, as I think that may help the NASDAQ a little bit. But at the same time, I'd rather them all chill out. So right now, NASDAQ trying to retrace back in a little bit. We're bidding 03s to see if we could take about 25 handles, and we're watching out to see what Mara is doing long at 30 here.
Yeah, IBIT's trying to hold VWAP firstly on that pullback prior high. So you're getting some higher lows put in, but since VWAP, and let's look at it here, since VWAP, you've got a bit of a trend, and you've got this nice little base out, but it is lower highs into higher lows. So you got a wedge pattern forming over there. DJT is still dancing now underneath that 50 level. So it's starting to bleed into the downside and really falling heavily in here. And the disconnection, let me show you, we go back over to Funware. So I had Funware into the short the last time. Now we roll over. You're still on trend down. So I want to play this a little bit differently, which is Funware's got a trend. I'm going to play its own trend and forget about DJT, because it was good early, But then I got out of it because DJ halted up, and that was the wrong call. Then we get into the short when DJT's rolling over, and again, like that doesn't work out. So I'm going to play on trend with Funware and treat it like its own beast. We're still in IBIT, we're still in Sofi. Nvidia don't want to be fighting Nvidia, but it's AMD, which looks like it's a stronger one. Nvidia is at VWAP. Let's let it get underneath VWAP and get some confirmation that this might actually be a shorting opportunity here in NVDA. As we said with SoFi, it's at VWAP. It's a matter of whether it gets back into the drop zone at 1070 right at the open when it flushed, and that's where the out's going to be. Otherwise, getting out at 10, I'll probably move the trail into like 1015, which makes sense here. This little wick. If it loses 1015, then I should get out of SoFi. It was just an SSR bounce play off of those lows. So it was being chased down. You saw it make a base. 975 and 960 were the two obvious ones. Every quarter is going to be a potential level when you look at something like that. So SoFi above VWAP. Don't want to give too much back in here, but I want to give it a chance to be able to run a little bit further.
All right. Okay, so not really too many exciting things happening. I mean, we were able to get some more bids there on the futures. We can look at other stocks right now. Okay, so there goes Mara. So C71.5 right now, and Mara's already down at these lows. So there it goes. All right, so we'll have to slap a fail there on Mara. I mean, breakout was kind of good early. We have some nice highs, but look at what this is doing. Really starting to bleed down. I mean, whether or not now we get into our stubborn mode or not, I don't think so, because it's just not. Like, you could look back here and say, well, this is kind of why this is why we were holding it. We talked about that 1910 level, but that's a decent high there of 19 again. We had initially written down 19 to see about that level, so let's just, I don't know. All right, let's try it. Let's go to 1894, just a real quick one. Okay, well, we're almost stopped out there. So we're just long here at 02s. Looks like it is going to break lower there. Mara having a way downside right now. So looks like we'll give. I'm fine with that. Looks like we'll give that back there on Mara. Never liked to lose on it, but I just thought that could have held there.
I'm slapping the fail on IBIT too as well, because IBIT just broke VWAP.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm out.
Yeah, so another one over there with IBIT, and that's the thing. As we go, we have to be very careful with.
Can we come to my chart before we go?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Before we come, we've just lost VWAP, and now you have a big trend reversal happening on IBIT. And I wanted to mention that Clean Spark. Like, remember when Clean Spark wasn't breaking the high and Mara was breaking a high?
Or something.
It's like, it's one thing to be like, oh, this is relatively weak, but yeah, should have just look at the trend break. This is the setup that we usually like. And it was relatively weak. It did a trend reversal, and it was very clean. I like that setup. I don't have it. And again, you can have a bias sometimes to the long side, and then when a really good short sets up, you're just not there for it. It happens. It happens every now and then. I think we're going to Adara. DJT just made 46 now on DJT. Where's the next halt band? This might halt down again on DJT. So 46 now on DJT. It's continuing to bleed. Well, okay, well, I was looking for a long, and thank goodness I didn't find any on DJT. It's still going downside. Halting at 46.03 is DJT. Let's see how the other small caps are doing with Adara.
DJ.
You're not worrying.
WM holding really nice support around 220, 220 right now in this 15-minute chart. Definitely a little bit of a different picture from yesterday, where we had pretty strong sustained strength throughout the day, down about 0.7% as of right now for that Russell 2000. For a small cap and watch, a little bit larger of market cap, about $2 billion here for WGS. The company is called GeneDX. They reported earnings, smaller than expected loss per share. The sales beat and also higher than expected guidance, actually above their previous guidance and the consensus estimate. So great look here for WGS, which has a short float of about 12.5%. Even larger short float here for RILY. B. Riley is a short float of 72.3%. We know this one's had some financial struggles recently, announcing this morning that they've raised $236 million in cash proceeds through divesting some of their brand assets, apparently looking to use this money to repay some debts, up about 22% with a market cap of around $220 million. Last but not least, a penny stock here. Glycomimetics up more than 200%. GLYC announcing a merger with Crescent Biopharma. Also saying they secured $200 in funding to advance their oncology pipeline. Market cap about $28 million here for context, guys.
Right, guys, very important. We did have Mitch on earlier. Exciting news. Trade the Pool's giveaway winner is live on the web. Head over to see if you are the lucky winner. Trade the Pool allows traders to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock investors for a one-time fee of just $97. You'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. Best part, limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal, making it easier with fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss your chance to explore this limited time offer by simply scanning that code on your screen and or link in descriptione. Yeah, so far, actually pretty good. Right now, we did buy back Mara, and now we're starting to get back there to the upside. But the one thing that did blast off, we will still stay green on it, is the NASDAQ, which just took off. And I heard Neil say, like, wow, AMD is going. I was like, yeah, man, this whole market right now seems to be wanting to go back higher. So let's take some more out here on Mara if we can get that to these upsides there. And then we'll see where we can go from here. But right now, Mara looks like it wants to continue its trek higher, now 30 cents in the money, off of basically a 19 hold, but we did get lower. So, don't be fooled by that. Mara was a tricky trade today.
Yeah, definitely. And no questions asked about it. I mean, Bitcoin went through VWAP as well and busted another like 10, 15 down and now back above VWAP, so a bit of a reversal. DJT is halted with a tap of 45 and change. So it's actually basing out. It was a little bit lower and it's starting to base out. So when we got to the second I saw the tap start going in the other direction, sorry, Sharif is just being silly over there. So the second I saw the tap start to go a little bit higher in DJT, I covered twice through the break of the low on Funware. And the other thing is on the daily chart, this is support on Fun. Like this $8 level and where we are on Funware is, I guess, pretty significant support. You pull up that 15-minute chart, this is where the reversal was. So obviously, if you're playing short there, got to be looking for outs into that $8. So just taking a little bit more profit on that. DJ, as we said, halted to the downside. The chip names are absolutely, this is it. Like you can say all you want, but I know we were looking at that AMD long yesterday, and it was a tricky one, at least early on. Today, it was basically the same thing, only like a more distinct down move into a monster breakout. Now, AMD is absolutely flying up here, 2% to the upside. It is not everything that is as strong as AMD. I can tell you right now, this double top on Intel, like it is what it is, man. You show me a double top 2 days in a row on this stock, and if it's lagging, which right now it's only 1% up, I'm just going to wait for it to get to that high and try to play it for a trend reversal on Intel. Like it's not busting highs when the future is breaking highs, and it's got overhead resistance. Yeah, I no longer want any part of NVIDIA short. I think this is the only one that I want to play to the short side. It's about somehow finding my way into AMD or even an NVIDIA long, now that it's holding 140. We liked an over-under, but that means you got to be willing to go long when it's green now.
Was that a call for Adara? Let's go.
Tesla getting a nice little pop here with a bit of increasing volume on the 3-minute chart. We have some more comments coming here from Elon Musk. Quite a few here, a lot of them having to do with the future of Tesla and the future in general. Elon Musk saying that by 2040, he thinks there will be at least 10 billion humanoid robots with a low price point, seeing apparently between 20,000 and 25,000 per robot. More specifically, though, for Tesla, Elon's saying that he expects unsupervised self-driving in the U.S. next year. So Elon Musk predicting that we will have unsupervised self-driving, to quote him, in the U.S. by 2025. Guys, keep an eye on TSLA with that in mind.
Right. Yeah, we have. We're about to have a real special day because we've got the babyface assassin over there ready to go, man. This guy's got his club gear on. He's ready to go, man. These two are getting ready to kill that midday show.
He always dresses so nice.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing, man. The minute I saw this guy, he can tell you the true story. I told him, I said, bro, you went the wrong door, man. Like the runway's the other way when I first met this guy. True story, right, Joe? Yeah, very true story right there. Yeah, really, really happy to have him on board and part of the Trader TV Live La Familia right there. So welcome, Joe, to the
Familia.
family, as he's been there for a minute as well. Okay, so Mara, nice move up to the upside there. We got some out at 25s, man. It came right back into this past level of support. So we'll take some out. We are going to be watching Bitcoin. And we know that Bitcoin has its tendencies to move around a little bit. So we got to be somewhat patient with that. But we are out of half of our Mara trade. Just looking to try to make some money back here as we, blew it there, trying to get to the downside there with MARA. So we're going to look at that, but we can't do anything without discussing what's for lunch. All righty then. If you guys are asking what's for lunch, you're about to find out. And if you're not, you're still about to find out. Today, what's for lunch? What? Didn't I say lemon-crusted panko chicken yesterday? Not a bad memory. Well, today, unfortunately, it is lemon. Lemons must be on sale somewhere right now. So shout out to everybody that likes lemons because, you guys are getting some business here today. It is lemon roasted salmon fillet with a coconut crusted, coconut crusted.
I'll turn my head at coconut.
Tiger shrimp.
They doing shrimp. They doing shrimp?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Steamed tricolor. It's very important that these are tricolored mini potatoes with butter and dill. I mean,
I don't even know. Well, okay, I do know what tricolored potatoes mean.
yeah, this is 3 colors. Roasted root vegetables
But it doesn't matter.
with Asian greens.
That means bok choy usually.
Yeah. And Napa cabbage salad with julienne vegetables.
Yo, that's a meal right there.
Happy to report today what's for lunch up in here. So
Yeah, that's a meal.
yeah, that was good, man. We'll take that over and over again here. So
close.
yeah, look, again, pretty good day right now. It's 10:30, still a half hour to go. Let's go see what Adara's up to.
Before we talk about crypto, we're going to really talk here about quickly talk about DJT, currently trading around the $46 level. We have a CNN reporter posting that, according to her sources there, JD Vance is set to sit for an interview with Joe Rogan tomorrow, Wednesday 30th, for his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. This interview is set to drop later this week. So it looks like JD Vance will follow his running mate, Donald Trump, here for a Joe Rogan interview. Keep an eye on DJT and RUM with that in mind. We have Bitcoin here. Of course, the biggest thing to talk about here in the world of crypto is going to be BTC breaking 70,000. What a great look here for Bitcoin with these higher highs, higher lows after that 54,000 double bottom we had on that daily chart. We actually got as high here as it looks like 71.9, just below that 72,000 level, currently trading around 71.5 from what I'm seeing. It's worth noting, apparently there was about $222.8 million in liquidations recorded over the last 24 hours. 164.6 million of those liquidations, so more than half were short positions being liquidated. So some shorts trying to get out of BTC here as we have this run up into continued resistance with 72,000. Ethereum looking pretty strong here as well, actually up more on a percentage basis than BTC, up about 4% and holding on to that 2,600 level. Solana and BNB quite strong as well, both up more than 2%. Dogecoin looking great here, about 14%. So lots of strength in the crypto space this morning in tandem with that BTC push, guys.
So DJT is thank you very much there. DJT is halted to the upside now.
Yep.
So it's, 47.28? Sorry. Okay, so when it go into the halt band, punch out of Funware because DJT is going up and Funware is SSR. So DJT halted 47.28. Current tap is 47.50, so still that's underneath the prior low. But this might have been the bottom. I thought it might go SSR. I was looking for an SSR bounce, 10%. It did not go down 10%. I think it just missed it by about $1. So it got very close, but no cigar. That said, it's about to go back green again. So yeah, these things happen. DJT, when it opens back up, I might play, if DJT continues to trend up, Fun might actually be an SSR bounce on its own. But speaking of, yeah, there's the loss of VWAP over there on Sofi. So if it rolls back under this support here at 10.15, we'll just get out of that trade. That was an SSR bounce, but the thing with Sofi is you don't have to worry about DJT flying all around all over the place. Funware does a bounce, you got to watch a DJT there. So IBIT just bounced off of VWAP again.
Let's go.
So now higher lows off of VWAP. It's looking a little bit better. I went back over, and you're now back over 19 on Mara. So 19 level, Didn't think we'd see that one, and now you're putting in the first green candle off that dip. It was all above, and now I'm looking for, can you hold on to this 19 level? It was nasty when Bitcoin was going all over the place, but now you stabilized over VWAP a little bit better. It's going to look solid. DJT's tap just increased another $1, so now at 48. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Chinese EVs. I have NEO up here down almost 3%. The Associated Free Press reporting that the EU is apparently adopting extra tariffs of up to 35.3% in Chinese EVs. So Chinese EVs facing additional tariffs, not much of a reaction yet, but keep an eye on names like NIO, LI, ZK, and XPEV with that news in mind, guys.
Okay, so we finally found our way in right now. Let's hit the sirens here for NVIDIA. We're only out of 20% right now of NVIDIA. So let's wait to see we take out 10% for 10 cents and then another 10% for 20 cents. As we'll wait to see if NVIDIA wants to hold some of these levels right now. We did also get out of more Mara on the upside there as we went into 12s. All right, I'm going to take out another. Let's take out a 5% now at 62 there. So we'll punch out a little bit more of this name here. And this name, of course, is, oh, God, is NVIDIA. So there it is, out of a little bit more there at 62s. Sorry, I was struggling there to go over to Mara. Here's Mara right here. So again, there's the out there, 12s or 13s. We take another out now at 05. We'll see if Bitcoin wants to hold and we can get back up there to the upside, which we like. So hopefully that will come in for us and we'll be able to see a trade there on Mara. What I'm looking for is, again, another 25 or so fill up into this level. And then if Bitcoin wants to take 72, then I don't even know why Mara is even down here right now. I mean, it was up here before. It should be up here again. So we'll wait to see if that's going to come through for us. But yeah, right now, that's what we're dealing with, Mara and NVIDIA. And there goes NVIDIA. Right now, it's a smooth little 30 cents now in the money. Let's take out another 5% to the upside if we're able to. And we talked about trying to get into NVIDIA. Well, we did. I mean, I was just, enough was enough. We were going to eventually try to give it to this 50-period moving average. And I'd like to get more shares, but hey, just in the shares that we have, there goes this name. Nice move to the upside here. So yeah, regardless of how many shares you want to put on the winning trade, and there it goes again. Let's take out another 5% on Mara as that's starting to climb back up to the upside. So, hey, man, just meanwhile, we now have 70 cents in the money right now on these three trades that we just put on. Bye-bye, NVIDIA. It was nice. Let's see how far up you want to go now. NVDA, again, just try to get into the best names. We talked about this. You just want to be in the best names. And here goes NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA, twist my arm. There it goes right now. NVIDIA rocking up the top P&L board right now there today. So there it goes right now. See ya, NVIDIA up to 141. Neil, that's a smooth 50 cents right there in a matter of 5 minutes. So, you know, getting into the right names, definitely paying dividends here today with NVDA. We are out, sorry guys, of 70% of that trade.
Yeah, find the right trades, the right price. Good look on NVIDIA. One way that you can find some trades is by having a chart platform that is going to work for you the best way possible. And that's going to be eSignal, everybody. You're able to trade smarter, not harder. You want to be able to upgrade to this kind of an elite trading experience, whether you're analyzing stocks, whether you're strategizing your next trade, you got to be able to capitalize on what is moving, and your window to the markets are going to be this world-class platform. You're talking about data on every single symbol market that you can imagine in real time, reliable. If the market's open, then eSignal data is going to be working for you. You want to have charting that changes the game, and you want to have charting that gives you good back testing and scanning, whether it's finding symbols to trade or back testing, forward testing strategies that you have developed. You want to play off of moving averages, crosses, then go see if that works on the stocks that you're trading. You want to play mean reversion, then go ahead and back test that. That's what eSignal is able to do. Again, it's all about trading the right names at the right time. So if you want to be able to do that and elevate your trading experience, then scan the QR code that you see right in there, check out eSignal, or go to the link in the description. As a matter of fact, go right in there as well if you don't like that QR code. But shout out to eSignal, fantastic platform used by a lot of traders here. And I can tell you, I look forward to getting back into some eSignal as well. They also have this test drive, 30 days for free. You can try it out. Just very quickly, one strategy that I like to use here for entry points is let's find ourselves a trend reversal. So I went over, and BTC was already bouncing. So instead of playing it off of the highs, okay, what's something that was trending down that I can have an entry set up for? And that was CleanSpark breaking that downward trend that was on, giving a break off of those lows, give it to the prior bar low, and then look for a VWAP retracement. Now, obviously, I'm going to watch BTC into this high. The high is right now, so IBIT's high is 41.06. I don't know exactly what that is for Bitcoin. It's probably around 72,000 and change, but we'll play it back into that high on BTC. So trend reversion here on CLSK, which did go red to green. DJT open, it is continuing to go higher. So that happened as we were just talking about E-signal there. So continuing to go higher is DJT. I'm only looking for, if it fails 50 or fails VWAP, I'm probably going to go right back over and make another play in Funware. But yeah, Bitcoin going up. So that's what we entered into that CLSK mean reversion play. So right back up at those highs, probably around some 72, it looks like 72,000 hasn't broken yet. But if we do make a fail break of this high, then I want to make sure we're taking profits. If I see a wick top here, it's forget about waiting for VWAP or waiting for like 65, 70, 75. It's get some out immediately if we start making a rejection on that high on IBIT.
All right. We still have got Mara in right now as well. You know, I always hear Neil talk about this all the time, and it's very, very hard to do. I mean, we can talk about this today as well, where you don't ever want your biggest loser to be more than your biggest winner. Sometimes that is very, very hard to control. Today, we've done a great job of that, as our biggest winner is going to be Palantir, which is significantly higher than what is now our biggest loser, Mara, right now. So, you know, we've done a really good job of doing that today, and I think that that's what it's all about. You know, it is very, very hard to manage that, and that's why I keep saying the number one thing about trading is share size. And it's about managing your share size, because if you don't have the right amount of shares when you're right, but you do when you're wrong, then the thing is your biggest loss could be double, triple, 4, 5 times what your biggest winner is, because when you're winning, you have to have an appropriate amount of risk and try to risk that. And that's why we're always looking at key levels, and I'm always thinking, okay, you know, how much have I made on this stock? Do I even really want to go green on it? Like, what is my P&L looking like for the day? How much can I risk here? Am I reading the markets right? So on and so forth. So it's much more than simply just putting on the right trades. You have to, I mean, and that's why you can, like I said, you can always ask us if we're green or red on names or on the day or anything like that. That's fine. But ultimately, it has to go with what positions do you like the most, and what kind of risk are essentially you putting on to these positions? And it's just the reason why I always do these, you know, lessons intraday, like all the time, obviously. But like, this is a good example right here for NVIDIA. So this is a huge win. It's 50 cents. But this was just a starter position. And I mentioned that to you guys, that we are looking to get more down here near VWAP and the 50 period. So for right now, you know, it's a great win, but I could easily go red on this name if it falls back in here. And anyways, I'm out right now of 80%. But if it falls back in and then takes VWAP to the downside, and I have a decent sized position on, then I'm going to give this all back. So that's where you have to sort of judge what you're doing and take that for what it's worth. Mara right now, right back. I mean, look, sometimes we're good and sometimes we're not. But right here, I don't know what to say, but right here on Mara came right back into that level that we were discussing, into that shelf. So we've already taken some outs here before we dip back in. We did not reload it there, but we are now starting to get some out. And I'm going to try to hold this to see how far up we can go now on Mara. So, all right, I know we're talking a lot. Well, we have Adara on the desk, so let's go find out, or sorry, at the screen with Sector Watch.
Slightly positive here on the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, but there are quite a few sectors with some negativity. We're going to start here with utilities. NEE, Next Era Energy, the largest component in this sector, getting a pretty sharp hit to the downside, announcing an equity offering, so sending that group much lower. Consumer durables, with the exception of Tesla, sharply lower as well, likely in sympathy with Ford's earnings and some weaker than expected guidance coming out of F. We also have some weakness here in retail trade, consumer non-durables, and finance. So in terms of sectors with some strength, we have a little bit of upside in health technology. Pfizer down in earnings, but keep an eye on LLY. They report before the bell tomorrow morning. We also have here the tech sectors. Got to keep an eye on GOOGL in technology services and AMD in electronic technology. Both names are reporting after the bell. Generally, these sectors have some strength, but they don't really seem to be led by the Mag 7. Google and Meta to the upside, but Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple a little bit more flat ahead of a very big earnings week, guys.
The biggest earnings week, everybody. Like this is the maybe it's the Super Bowl this week. Whether or not 5 of 7 of the Mag 7 names is good for you, it's certainly going to be the biggest as far as I'm concerned. You can make an argument that when Nvidia reports, that's the one that everyone looks forward to, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree. That's the most important earnings that we're going to get every earnings season. But this week is a monster starting today with Alphabet. Look, AMD suddenly is working trend back in to the downside. I note that because the market just made another fresh high, and I did say Intel was relatively weak. That's still true. That's at VWAP and at the low, not at the low, at local bottoms as the market's breaking out high. So I don't think we're going to see 23.30. We'll have to back away from that. Maybe look for like a short underneath VWAP to play that for its relative weakness. Clean Spark, which is CLSK. Say it out loud because you just saw me just typo. So when this happened, see that little rejection of 41, I said wherever we are at, if we get a rejection of that high at 41, I'm just going to take some out there on Clean Spark. It just happened to be like 1 cent in the money at that particular moment, so I did. It then bounced off that higher low, so I go from stop here to stop underneath there. It has not stopped out. So the mean reversion trade to me is only good if it can hold on to that 40. Tight stop, yes, but it is trending down, and I'm looking for that reversion trade back in. If it doesn't work, want to be able to jump out of that. So IBIT's going back up to the top, and you're only holding the consolidation here. That's why the tighter stop here on CLSK. Like it's not doing the move that I want on that sympathy play. So IBIT at that 41, so I jump out of that trade, make sure that we try to find something a little bit better for reversion. I like the setup. That's one that usually I'm in love with, but this one I have a leading indicator for that I want to pay attention to, and that was that rejection of the high on IBIT. So CLSK will jump out of it. I'm still in Sofi, which, I mean, it's not doing anything underneath VWAP here, but it is about to come out underneath that 10.15. If there is a bounce back into VWAP, I'll probably just take it out on the next available bounce. Remember, we're only holding on to the last bit here. And we got that first entry, we played it to first level, and then we held for VWAP. Now it's just a matter of does it break 10.15 before it gets back above VWAP. Let's go to Dara and take care of some business.
Firefly Neuroscience. Oh, this part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
And thanks, Firefly. All right, so I'm only in NVIDIA and Mara. If there's anything else
super chat.
You guys want us to do, Kyle, Home Depot, Starbucks, are they getting blasted? Yeah, so we had Starbucks yesterday. Thanks, Kyle, for that there. We had Starbucks yesterday up near $100. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily getting blasted. I mean, I was pretty red on the market today. We've been wrong late. We were right early, wrong late, and still positive day. So, you know, we're happy over here with our performance today. Would have liked to have held some of those gains that we had earlier. We'll make them back right there. But yeah, Starbucks pretty weak today, so that's a good little look there, Kyle, as you mentioned. And again, falling off that 98. What else did you mention? Well, we had McDonald's earnings. So
Home Depot.
That could be something, but McDonald's is high right now, so they're actually green after, again, look at this fade right back into VWAP right there, and then upside right there, Randy. That was a good one. And then you just mentioned Home Depot as well.
That's a bit of a bounce on Home Depot here. Home Depot's down 2%. Hey, what up, Randy? But look at the daily. Bounce right off the 50 period moving average. You just got the super chat, so I don't need to necessarily read it there. But bounce off the 50 period on Home Depot. Look, it's not a V-shaped recovery because because it was at 403, so you've only really gone about halfway. But a decent bounce here. I think getting dragged up by the market on the overall, like that's a good, it's a good looking candle if it closes above 395 on Home Depot. Support, 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 wick under, bounce at 50 period. If you can hold on to the consolidation, I think you're looking pretty solid. I know it's down 1.5 today, and I know Starbucks is down, but hey, that's a pretty good relief rally in my books. So SoFi just must have, yeah, there it goes. It just goes back underneath that 10-15. So SoFi is resuming trend back to the downside now. So one shot on the reversion play, and now you're headed back to the lows. That bottom was 979 or 980 or so. If it does come back to make a double bottom there, that's about the only place I'd look for the long on SoFi. So the market's starting to crest a little bit. Intel just crept underneath VWAP. There was no trade because it didn't get to 2330, which is the last 2 days a double top. It never broke out the high, which means it's already, I mean, that's one strike against it when the market's breaking out high. Strike two is that it loses VWAP while the market's at highs. Now it's underneath that $23 area. So I'm looking to short. Just want an entry here. I want to make sure the other chip names aren't going absolutely ham. Let me just double check what's going on in NVIDIA and AMD. AMD still in a little bit of a downward trend. NVIDIA, that's holding up green as well. But yeah, Intel, we can just be patient with it. I think this one's looking weak. Might test VWAP one more time in here. This is a time of day that I don't want to rush into anything just yet. And DJT, I mean, it just, like, it gave you that bid. I was waiting for SSR. It couldn't get there. And it's holding trend down as well. It's gearing up. It might have just made a bit of it looks like a capitulation bottom to me. I mean, it's the biggest volume candle outside of the open, and it's a rejection of the low, and now you're consolidating for a breakout that would take you above the 49 level. So I haven't had a single long DJT. I did try to go long here at 50 and then missed that trade. That's disappointing because I was staring it down at the open instead of looking at other things. And if it breaks that 49, I'm going to like a breakout. That would be holding trend, or sorry, breaking trend, I should say, back into VWAP. If it fails, I mean, you already know I like that funware for the short trade. So DJT, as soon as I say that, of course, it's starting to head back in. It was consolidating, looking like it wanted to break that 49. I guess we're just going to have to wait for the break of this 49 level on DJT as it resumes its downward trend.
Okay, we're getting a little bit closer to liking a decent long here. I'm going to bid 17s or so down here. We did get a dip down in on NVIDIA. We reloaded a little small piece here at 50s, so that's going to be a level for us to wait for now to come back up. But here's a little drip. If it comes back and breaks 140, then we will get out so far. So again, as you can see, man, it was a great morning, but right now, just trying to find what that next sort of play is. We've been getting out of more Mara as we go. Maybe Bitcoin doesn't want to hold, but look at Bitcoin, 72. It's actually going higher as Mara goes lower. So interesting relationship there. And yeah, we're all good though as we go. We've given some back today, but today will be one of those days again where we're doing pretty good. Like to do a little bit better. Nvidia's coming in right now. I'm going to take just some shares here, just in case it doesn't get into the teens. We'll buy some 23s right now. A little bit of an aggressive dip buy opportunity there for NVIDIA. Wow, we just missed a much bigger trade down there if we got those teens, but we'll wait for it. All right, NVIDIA's on the move. Adara's at the desk.
DXY is still pretty stagnant here in this daily chart. We have some wicks above that 104.5 level, but generally still struggling to surpass that level after a very strong rally for the whole rest of the month here. It was closed basically flat yesterday, poised to close basically flat today as well. So let's see how everything shakes out. Lots of economic data today. This week is full with economic data after a pretty light last few weeks. Lower than expected goods trades balance for September coming out at 8:30. We also got a higher than expected house price index for August, but the main numbers were the numbers we got at 10 a.m. Tools job openings much lower than expected here. 7.443 million for September versus here the estimate of 7.98 million. So missing by more than 500,000. It's also worth noting we got a downward revision for the September print. Initially it was 8 million or 8.04 million. Then they revised it down to 7.86 million. So lower than expected here and a downward revision for the last month. Consumer confidence actually well above expectations, 108.7 for October versus 99.5 expected. So we had one print well above, one print well below expectations at 10:30, and more economic data throughout the week. Tomorrow at 8:30, we're going to be getting the GDP data. We're going to be getting PCE, the Fed's preferred inflation gauge, on Thursday ahead of the FOMC meeting next week. Then Friday, we'll get non-farm payrolls. What a week for economic data, guys. Stay tuned.
There, Adara. Wow, I looked over at Boeing for a second. DJT's trying to make this breakout. It's getting close. You can see it. It's kind of hovering above that trend. No break of 49 just yet. But I had a peek over at Boeing. Boeing doesn't have a red candle on the 15-minute today. So Boeing, I guess the bottom is in. It never really got to the Alamo at 146, but making a bounce anyway. So DJT goes right to 49, 48.95, no breakout. So this is the trend from the open, not from the pre-market. It's trying to break out above that trend line. It's going to be a 49 even break. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to set it and forget it. I was going to play it maybe along in front of that, like in here if it just closes above. But for now, I'm just going to put the breakout as well. So we're going to go breakout trade on DJT. Let me just get my stop order in there, and then we are set on DJT. So I'm going to cross on a break of 49. I still like the fact that you can hold trend, like maybe bounce off 48 for a different entry, but I want to make sure I have my stop order in there as well. So DJT, it's now broken trend and heading back to the upside. I'm going to break out at 49. And then as I mentioned on Boeing, this is a drop down's not working. This is a rocket to the upside. Right at the open, it never saw that 46 level support on the daily chart. It just hasn't done anything but green, green, green the whole way. It's getting very close to top here, 157. That would be a spot to look for some kind of reversion. So there goes DJT. I just got twos on a break on DJT, so I guess there was no slippage, which is weird. I would expect to get slippage on DJT, so there was no entry off that consolidation on the trend line, which again disappeared. But it just broke out that 49. VWAP is at 51. 50 was a monster level this morning. It bounced like $4 off of that 50 in a straight shot. So the trend line, which just broke, one reason. Two, it broke out this prior resistance at 49 even. Let's see if it can get into VWAP in here. Usually I want trend breaks into VWAP as a target. 48 would be the bottom of that trend line. If it loses 48, then we got to get out. Then we got to abate.
All right, yeah, good. Good trade there. We'll see if we can have some good luck on DJT. We've just been we're looking at the same stuff. I wanted to look at Palantir again. Like, we had wrote down 45 as an idea here for Palantir. I am just a little interested. Who's messaging me? I was just a little bit interested in what this level is going to look like. So we talked about it there. Palantir 44. Oh, so we got to 45 early, then we got 44.50. Those were great. But so now I'm trying to debate what we like here. But the thing is, we are 20 cents right now in the money for NVIDIA. So we've been taking more out up here. And again, that was the reload spot. That was another one. We were just, again, a couple pennies away from a big trade at 17, which would have been through the moon. We might have been back to our day's high, but we're not. So we'll have to wait now to see where this one goes. Now, hopefully a little bit higher. Right now, we can also, of course, look at Sofi was another one there. I know Neil was in that one. So breaking out back above $10, trying to hold it, but now back in the $10 actually. And we'll see what's going on right there. Yeah, so it's Mara, it's NVIDIA for me right now. Other names that we had on the list, the TQs. Yeah, Bitcoin again, 72. I mean, we're still okay with our Mara position. We've given some back today. We'll hold the trophy, but again, we were three of these earlier. So right now we do give it back in all honesty. And I mean, that's what we're trying to do is tell you guys what our situations are right there, because it's like watching a football game and not knowing the score, right? Okay, so there it is right here. Here's Palantir. Let's just figure out what's going on now. So there's the short. We just talked about it up to 45. So this one we could give some money back in. If this one doesn't work, I was going to give it to 45.05. I think that was one of the fills here, because if we break too much above $45, we didn't want to give it too high. That's 45.10. Honestly, right now, because we're long NVIDIA and watching this market, trying to hope for it to go higher. Let's just wait. I'm not in love with this trade. Palantir right now, I'm already in the short. We're giving it 6 cents. So, 45.06. So that would be in this situation 8 cents. So we'd like to take an 8-cent winner if possible on half of them. So let's go put down there half of this trade out for an 8-cent winner, and then we'll wait to see if we can get that other half out for lower than that. But right now, this is in question because look where the market is. So we do not put on a big, huge position here. We'll wait to see what happens with Palantir up at this level.
Yeah, Palantir has been...
There goes NVIDIA.
NVIDIA to the high. The NASDAQ just went through the high of the day as well. Just tagged 49.90-ish on DJT. I didn't actually see what the top wick was there, but it got close to that 50 level, so took another leg out in front of 50 on that reversal break. So still on trend, still heading higher. The other thing I forgot to mention about this was you're starting to go to Funware and hit enter, try it twice there. So DJT bounces. Funware is still under the initial breakdown of that $9 level when DJT halted. So as long as it's underneath VWAP, I mean, this is going to set up any kind of curl in DJT, which we're in, and failure back into that 48 or resumption of trend, you're still setting up very nicely to re-enter a Funware short. Fabian just reminded me that we haven't addressed. We have a poll in the chat here. I didn't even notice this one. And so now we're calmed down a little bit. We only have 1 minute to go. We send you guys over to the midday. We got the babyface assassin and Sharif out there to give you lessons of the day.
Is that name going to stick? All right, yeah, buddy.
It's sticking now.
There we go. I like it.
So if this, apparently I answered this and didn't even realize it. If the stock market had a dating app, what's your profile vibe today? Oh, I know what I did. I didn't realize it said today. Long-term love, but it's complicated. That's what I picked because I didn't notice the part today. I just kind of read the first part. What's your profile? Hey, I like long-term love, man. Like that's what it's all about. Buy the good stocks and hold on to them in a general sense. Play some fun stuff. Only here for short squeezes. That's number 2. Swipe right if you're safe haven. Nobody wants that. Only 10%. And ready to risk it all for the meme stocks. Only 14%. Well, there's plenty of meme stocks in here today. And if you want to be in this, poll, then jump on over and hit that subscribe button because it's a subs-only chat. Poll is in the chat, obviously. Speaking of meme names, DJT, that just broke 50. That just broke 51. Nice. So that 49 break just got to 50. Now remember, this is that halt level at 52. So trail's going to be in back to 50, and the out's in through 52. And the second this thing starts to curl and look like it's going to be a short, I'm going over to not short this, but go over to Funware because that is going to be always the play. As the market going higher, DJT finally catches, we caught a bit a while ago, but I didn't catch that one. So 49 in here, do not want it getting back underneath 50. We took our profit in front of 41.
Okay, guys, like NVIDIA right now, we just got 140.90s or so to the upside. Like, look, this is the reload right there for that. I mean, huge move right there, back up to the upside. Again, entering the P&L realm right here. So we're really happy where that's going. Right back up into number 1 spot is Palantir. But number 2 now goes NVIDIA. Look, I got nervous, man. I punched out of a little bit of NVIDIA right there, or of Palantir. But look what just happened, Neil. It's another chicken dinner winner. Right now, we will have one red name pending position. That will be Mara, up on the futures, up on Palantir, up on NVIDIA. We'll go 3-1 today. It was a good day over here right now. NVIDIA continues to go higher. Palantir hopefully continues to go lower. So there it is right there. 1-to-1 risk already took in right there on Palantir. All right, thank you so much for watching. It is the Babyface Assassin. Glad that's sticking. I like that one. With the professor as well. Actually, yeah, we like that one. So we have, we do not have Ramin here today. The Chilean Nightmare. Did I give you that name or was that Sharif? What was Sharif? Okay, so Sharif's got the Chilean Nightmare. We know what Ramin has. I've got the Professor. I've got Babyface Assassin, and Ramin's name is Ramin. So we will go back over to the desk. Well, you got your Ram, right? But that's Ram.
It sticks.
Yeah, that one to me is a pass. But I like Ram. I like Chilean Nightmare for sure. All right, let's go, guys. Thank you so much, Brendo, Neil. Thanks, Adara. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Today was another day and another one that ends in Y. Join us later on. Right now, it's Options Assassin as well. Over to my left, guys. Let's go. Good day.
Go get them.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. And I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to weasel on over from the other stream. Shout out to Nimit. I do find the poll interesting, Nimit. You can thank the Chilean Nightmare for being that creative. He's coming up with all sorts of stuff today. Shout out to Fabian. We got Tara the Dawn, one micro trader. We even have MB3, a proper paradox joining